like every other month, but this morning it happened twice. I'm like, all right, let me see.
Somebody's telling you to back off a little bit.
So I Google what to fix, and it's like, okay, run this thing, you know, like whatever.
What's up, man?
And so I run it, and it restarts the computer. So it restarts the computer, and it's like, you know, it goes through like, it says like, phase one, blah, blah, phase one, blah, whatever. Then it says the final phase. And it says estimated time, 4 hours.
Yeah.
It took 3 hours.
Yeah, did you,
I already tapped out.
okay, can I have a card start talking?
Oh, no, they're.
Okay, sounds good.
You sure, dude?
Yeah, it's part of the.
Did you want to do a double or single? Okay, makers and just size?
Major and ginger.
Ginger, okay.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. And then can I get your
So
ginger?
yeah,
Ever
3
fix.
hours. So 3 hours.
But
As
you
you're
still
like
have to
pounding
draw
your
a
head on
book
the
at
wall.
least, because I always.
Yeah, she always does.
So, Blink. So I just learned about Blink.
I've got that.
Blink.
I got
That's
that.
good.
Yeah, I've got that one in the reader.
Okay.
Do you have a ton of, what do you do? Are you doing hardback or are you doing readers?
I do.
Or you do all? Are you on, do you use Scribd? SCRIBD? $10 a month, dude. You can find almost every, you can find almost every book written. It's got white papers.
So now what is
Scribd is just
Well,
a,
no, it used to be like a document.
correct. And now it
Now
has
it's like a-
all
now
of
it's
the
like a-
audio shit that you and I would listen to. It's got all the, if it's brand spanking new, it might take a
It
month.
has audio stuff?
But yes, it's got books on tape.
But now,
Because I told you about it.
Yeah, but this is better.
It's
it's
fun.
$10 a month?
$10 a month, unlimited.
But then
Books and
it's,
audio and documents.
but so it's legit, it's not like.
It's absolutely
stolen, it's
legit.
not like-
Absolutely. Dude,
It's not a
absolutely.
dark
Look,
web
look,
where you're
look,
like,
look, I'm dead
FBI
serious.
is knocking down your
No,
door.
you know, like
Yeah.
people that like,
Yeah, there's definitely,
like,
Oh.
check it out.
they get free HBO or something.
Right.
No, check it out.
So you got overview, books, audio, like Traction.
Right,
That's-
right.
That's the book. And they also have the audio.
Yeah, that's like.
$10 a month.
What's the name of that?
Yeah. Scribd, SCRIBD. It's phenomenal. I used it 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I did
like, that's where,
documents,
you know,
I
it was
would
like,
exchange documents with people, and then now it's closed out, but you pay the $10, but it's unlimited, man. So you can listen to as many audiobooks as you want. I mean, it's
That's better than Audible.
I was doing Audible, and I'm like, dude, right, it's $10, but you might have to wait a month for the new book to come in.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, that's what backlog. on that.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You can never catch it. So check it out. It's definitely worth $10. And it's premium. I mean, like, it's for real from that provider. It's not bullshit.
Yeah, I just don't like to be part of the whole, like.
No, it's not pirated.
The whole rip-off.
Yeah, it's not pirated shit, so.
I mean, I've got enough work, it's not my problem.
Unless you
This
build
is
it.
Virginia, by the way, this is,
Hello.
Howard,
This is Terrell.
Cabernet?
This is Terrell.
We have GCJ's, ITF draft.
But yeah, that's the
draft
one.
out here, it's on draft, it's out here.
What's up, man? Good to see you, brother.
It's
Good, how about yourself?
dark, yeah.
You too.
We
Try
have
it.
novel.
Try it.
Did you get your shots yet?
Try it as much as possible.
Did you get your shot?
We do not know.
You gonna? Not, you're kind of up in the air
I don't
about
care,
it.
I don't care.
Yeah, I got it.
I don't care.
Like a light beer,
I
we
will
have
get
ultra
it.
mild.
Yeah.
Only because I want to travel. And
Well-
that's the only reason, like,
Yeah,
yeah.
That's why
that's
we'll-
what,
yeah, we'll-
like,
we'll
those
make
are
it.
the people who agree that we would have.
No, but then you have to
But
take the
we have
test and you have to show, and it's just a procedure.
If you want to go to see.
Yeah.
It'd be like vodka.
Yeah,
Although,
they can ask you
although
to
now
do
they
it.
say that you don't really need to show your test, you take a questionnaire and stuff like that. Like you just, do the questionnaire and you just say, okay.
I just want the anal swab. I think it's-
You know, a Trav's best friend was giving me the
That is
yesterday.
fantastic.
You know you can tell me shit.
No.
And then, then you smell your finger. And if you can
It's
smell
really
it.
good.
And then you don't have it. It's absolutely makes
Scott,
sense
this
to
is
me.
Mike and
You
this
lose
is
it.
Henry.
That makes total sense. Right, exactly. Totally makes
Scott,
sense.
this is Mike. That's
Mike and Henry. Yeah, you guys have met.
Yeah, it's been a
And
while.
Henry, Scott, Henry. That's
Scott, nice to meet you.
Perfect. You're welcome.
Bring whole fucking things when you have to.
I told you. I was gonna bring them. You never know.
Scott, how are you?
I think we got finished with figure out.
You started after the attorney's like- I told you, dude. Anybody says I'm a cab driver,
We can put it
Oh,
on,
no,
let you go.
you need to have me.
Did he? You didn't talk to him,
It's
then,
the
did you?
company.
You're just like, it's like. Oh, so I can't talk.
You can share the video. I think my job not to see, or the audio.
I can't believe it's video. I mean, I was talking about that. My boyfriend. I'm trying to get it.
It was half. I'm like, oh.
Oh my goodness, stop the bus.
It was right after. Yeah. So no, I always wanted to really but I didn't want to.
Oh, yeah.
I probably will, but, why would we have it doing lately?
Which one, Landon or?
Oh, where it's got a double line or something like that, and you're just there for the line.
They really
Just
have to
kinda
fill out that
How much you filled out?
So we did it the last year.
They have, there won't be safety.
Oh, really?
Just like houses with double line.
So I'm asking them,
People not
I've
going after them.
been busy. By the how am I gonna get these guys to talk?
Where do you work?
So by the how am I gonna get these guys?
Yeah, gotta do
What we have is,
Yeah.
To try to, it's out, I guess it's out in the stick somewhere.
for you, it's just like,
Are they trying to make you some?
Not yet.
I remember Scott and I used to be out in the Concord Canal back in the day. Long time ago. That was 20, wasn't it? Yeah, that was 18, 20. I know, I remember. That's where I did all my beginnings. God, it's good.
when we get back.
From,
Do we have audio? Have we tested that?
The headset is.
I normally go from
It's already.
Wednesday to
I
Sunday.
turned it off to save the battery just in case.
And
Okay.
then
Once
next
it's turned
week
on,
I
it should
gotta
connect
go back.
automatically, and
Go up
the headset
Yeah,
works the
Wednesday,
best
Sunday.
like last time.
Okay, yeah, that was great.
And I head up there.
And then,
I already did all the clean
Yeah, I love
stuff.
that.
so we're, yeah, so
It's
we're
already,
live.
it's already
this-
started just to.
Oh shit, it's already 6:30.
Yeah,
Okay.
I already got. I already had it going.
Actually, you know
Just to
what,
make sure.
we're smart enough to let you guys decide where we're gonna do
And
lunch.
then,
Yeah.
okay. Can we try to get the mic going?
See, I can
I
find
did.
anything.
I tried it.
It's very easy.
Like you don't even see it register on the thing. Like when it's on. Here, 1 second.
Like it just doesn't matter.
No, it connects. Which is
The weird difference.
Good vegetarian, so I have to.
I am, yeah.
You are too?
So like connect.
She's vegetarian.
I eat chicken.
Okay, she's vegetarian. Let me know,
I don't
definitely.
know.
Hands down, which would be great. You gotta get something.
Let's see.
So it's showing it's connected right now. It's on the first one. And then if you crank it all the way up, you can kind of hear it.
Sound reaches receiver, but no sound coming from receiver. Volume control is too low. Output is not or wrongly connected.
I mean, it's making noise. It's just not making as much noise as easily as the headset is. But you can hear it now. That's me.
Hello, hello,
I think
hello.
you can start loosening up.
Let's see.
Maybe doesn't turn it up so loud.
So,
It reaches the receiver, but no sound. No sound.
okay.
Wireless transmitter is off or muted. Our switch is set to mute.
If it was mute, it wouldn't make any noise at all. It was.
This shuts off.
Well, I think that just screen goes
Oh, but now
over.
look at this, look. That's exactly
Good, hit it again. We just gotta be up like that.
but then that also affects the other one.
Well, the headset's off right now. That's the one connected. So if people have a preference, we can just turn it off.
Well, I'm just saying like, it's just, it's nice.
I think it
just blanks out.
it's just one of those screen things. 'Cause like,
Just the screen goes off.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's not.
yeah. It shouldn't matter until it actually dies.
Right.
So then I'll be riding.
And I put the headset one over right in between the two areas. I put the headset on. Yeah, it should just connect automatically.
I know, I saw that, yeah, like.
It's true. Back then, I had. Yeah, after talking with him today, there's no doubt.
Let's go. He's like, yeah, but I'm sure because I'm gonna get.
32 grand.
What do we?
Well, here's his thing, so, okay. I know how it is, so, he's like, well, the attorney didn't have it on yet. The attorney that did the digital copy was supposed to go with, didn't have the judgment. So I, well, you're gonna be a little, oh, yes. Go, and I said, I was like, look, I don't know what they're gonna do. But I did tell him, I was like, this one, take it to the extent, it doesn't matter. So we can go.
Yes, because we have to see pizza.
So we might need to see, we gotta go switch It's just, I didn't know if there was any, I just didn't know if there was anything in regards to, if there was anything in regards to. I didn't know if I already. What do you bring? But they didn't find the judge.
Well, then there's already a sentence. Yeah, it would be a church.
Correct.
Yes.
No, she's being on time, she's leaving.
Overall, I'm going to go one call because then we know, that it's. Right. What happened was that, then it's like, it's tight. Because they only give us certain amount.
Yeah, but she would do it from year to year. And she didn't, yes, correct. If I had to do it, because he wants it there. Correct.
Yeah, she would just attach.
Okay.
Which to me would be the cleanest because then she goes after it. We don't have to worry about it. She would be on her back. And it'd be their possibility.
Just go over that section. So just, there's a black truck, there's a black truck there. Yeah. And he's there, that's his black truck. But I wanted to make sure that it's just a little battery notice.
That's how they're gonna.
That's one question.
They're gonna mail the keys.
Really? Really?
When can we pay for the application? That's what I wanted. The minute we pay for the application, then we can go ahead.
They're not asking for money.
What's going on? Good to see you.
Where's the
Correct. Yes.
So, just so you know, like I had no shower in my family, not been big. So I went to Cornell, so I have a bunch of people who are sorry. And so,
I can see that. I can see that. Yep.
but
My mom was like all excited. I'm just like,
I make some video on the
here.
She making art with that.
This was still a little bit of proving ground.
He didn't sand it. He didn't draw his lines.
Okay.
Yeah, well, no.
No, I'm joking.
And this is Henry.
And that's Henry.
I'm
And this is Lauren.
Henry. This is Lori. Nice to meet you, Lori.
Oh, okay.
So he's been around for a long time.
You guys are the OGs.
Yeah, so Mike, I used to teach with
So what's going on, man?
I have one more. It's supposed to be.
Yeah, you still good? I'm good. Just got something we got. No worries. 4 years.
Well, actually, I'll have three.
That's good. Was that not busy? Was that not busy?
No, it is. Yeah, I mean, I got a manager.
That's it.
I have investments, financial reporting, like we're trying
Anytime.
No, you're not.
Anytime.
Nice talking to you. Who knows? I mean, my lot of money.
This year it's 30,000.
Right, exactly. Or give it to me, but you're doing nothing with it.
I feel weird starting early.
Sorry?
Huh?
What'd you say?
I feel weird starting early.
Are we early or just on time?
I mean, we're still late. Oh, hey. All right. Wow. It's like a two-minute warning. Not quite it. So 2-minute warning. I know you guys aren't used to this starting at like within 20 minutes. I think probably a little bit lower. I mean, I know that it's down my voice, but it was too loud, maybe a little too annoying. Where did you go from what number to what number? That's a big difference.
Oh, yeah, so you can carry it.
85? Do you have muted? Huh? Do I have muted?
It's muted.
Muted? Oh, okay.
That's all.
Could I ask you to do the now so I don't forget later?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Because I'm usually when I'm trying to get out of here, I try to get out of here kind of fast.
Yeah, that's
and I always
cool.
forget.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You gotta get some of those. What, what are those little plates they used to sell? Do they sell those? You guys know them. You can mail order. I don't know, they were on late night, like limited edition plates and stuff. Picture of like a
Real value, Scott.
so what are those like limited editions? That the idea?
By in a couple of weeks, they're going to have the value great.
You think it's gonna be complete?
Live footage.
You know what I'm doing? I'm not live footage. I didn't pay attention. Just wait for He's never given an interview. It's like 2 photos.
Yes, I'll take that. Yes, I'll take that.
Well, there's also, like say, there's also another guy, like a mirror. He's almost like a back. And is there another guy? So there's another guy in case I can get that wrong. I do every now and So the beginning, it's just so we never know left to sketch
Almost full. This is my roommate's it's called Scuba. Yeah, it's all going to the middle and then yeah, so he's the one with that. But I like
I don't know about the markers. I'm trying to like embrace some Church was like 3. And then it was the Hebrew calendar. But it's the military. Like a lot of them, it's not like a chronological thing, but they're waiting for events. So it's almost like, yeah, they're waiting for the 25th Amendment. And then they're like,
so I was doing 16, I was like, 16 is 14. So
like so they're waiting, like, they listen for whatever reason, right? Yeah. So for reasons you don't know about.
But
there is a
They could prove it like all the right now.
they could. Then they
Anyways, I feel like the radio stuff is happening. Like, I feel like it's
I mean, the main reason for 16 is because 16 is 16 is like, so if you
it's like 14.
I feel like they're waiting for stuff like that to like sew it all together. Right.
I'm gonna put
Less about like, oh, April 30th or whatever. You guys, we're waiting for you to do whatever the plan is that you have. We're waiting for certain things to happen. ABC yeah, so they're waiting for stuff like that. All right.
So we got the thing. Oh, that shaft you. That means I actually work for it. It's weird, right? Feels like I never was. We had nobody to laugh at for a while. I always say use it how punching about getting started.
Alright, well, that was long 2 minutes, but you know, part of the course here in the trenches, right, Ernie? I know that all your construction stuff is run on time. 100% all the time. Let's go ahead and switch it to
And you should have your,
All right. Oh, there's that damn light. Where's it, oh, wait, what happened? Is this service? Okay. I don't know why. Okay. All right. I'm confused. Call me Joe. Let's go ahead and start. Go ahead and start. Go ahead, call me Fred. It's okay. I have no idea what's going on. I'm just here for the drink entertainment. You never paid that? Good. Good job.
I already paid for
Good job. That's why I doubled the door security over there.
I saw that.
Smart.
Appreciate that. Gotta keep them in line.
Thanks for looking
People like you.
You know I can't be trusted.
They probably looked at that shirt and was like, damn, let him go. He can't. He hasn't bought a shirt since 1985 and 11.
We shop at the same store. We shop at the same store.
It's not Easter.
Yeah,
That'd be good fun. You got like a tan?
yeah.
You got out there doing siding? What are you
I
doing?
got a table, you know, sun.
A tanning booth? Something? I believe that actually.
I know. You better.
Alright, Scott Patterson, if you guys haven't heard this spiel here, contrary to our full belief, I'm just up here for the ego drinks and humiliate myself for time. And, anyways, it's kind of a lost leader for me, it's a little marketing thing, right? Get my name out there and get wholesale deals, partnerships, lending, whatever. Whatever you have to offer, I'm willing to take it off of you.
For the highest price you can get?
Except for your shirt. I want this shirt. I'll buy wholesale. And which, by the way, you guys are responsible. This meeting might go away if I don't get a wholesale deal from you guys. Okay? And then you'll have to live with that on your conscience for the rest of your life. And you know, because we change lives up here, you know? Sometimes for the good. Okay. Always for short-term, long-term lenders, and I'll advise on deals. And again, you know, the advice will be good, and most of the time it won't be self-serving, unfortunately. I miss the self-serving personality trait. You know, way back when. I don't know. I think it was like kindergarten, you know what I mean? Like I got beat by a ruler or something. I don't know what happened. I don't know. Anyways, I vouch for no one and nothing doing on homework because this is real estate, it's people business, and shit happens. I don't know why I keep doing that. And, you know, so whatever. I might like somebody, I might work out with somebody, you know, not work, I obviously don't work out, but I mean, like, I might, you know, have a good relationship with somebody, and it might be shitty for you. That's just the way life is, and I don't want to hear about it. I'm tired of hearing about it. Actually, I haven't heard about it since I put this up, and made it clear. Just, you know, go fuck yourself, I don't want to hear about it. I don't know why this slide is in here, but it's kind of funny. Okay. Okay. Wait, wait, what's all this stuff? What's all this random? This is me when I wholesale. Yeah. Okay, there's 11 leads. It's a little bit late. You already know this. It's not kid friendly unless you're my kid. What the hell's going on here? It's not even on now. Wait, what, you know what's going on?
Fixing it.
Yes, got it. So I had the rotating, you know, like to keep you guys entertained while I get my shit together. And then I had my presentation, and it looked like the entertainment was, you know, infiltrating my presentation somehow. Okay, so now we're good? Should be, theoretically. That's, you know, sounds like a contractor. Is that gonna stand? Is that gonna pass code? Should pass code. It should be good. They should support the wages. Okay. Oh, look, there's a lot of opportunities to give me money and I promote you. You can, whatever. You can read this later. If you care, you can talk to me, whatever. It's my cleaners, house cleaners, post-construction cleaning, and does some light demo for me. You know, whatever. He's willing to do whatever. And his wife actually has a cleaning company, so they do it full time. All right. This was our sponsor last month, and so I figured give him a good value and give him a little plug again this month. Tamar Chapman, broker, does a little bit of everything. He will make money when you buy with hard money, and then he'll make money when he refinances you. And he's a broker, so he can find the right product that's right for you, right? That's the problem that a lot of people, when they're trying to get financing, they go to a particular bank or a particular place, and that place might not, most of the time, it doesn't have the product that you're looking for, right? So if you use a broker, then they can find the right place. All right. Daily Construction. Oh, this is an incredible company. Cheryl, would you like to come up here and talk about it? All right. This is Cheryl. She does everything from light rehab to tree removal. She's fully insured. And for all you guys that wanted her phone number, were too shy to ask. Just you can use that.
I have a big voice. So I have a construction company. I used to work for a property management company. I used to do all of their maintenance work orders and rehab. And then I quit and I'm now doing it on my own. So daily construction, we do everything from tree removal to like rehabs. I don't have my GC yet, so I can't do anything too big. But I'm actually working on a house now in Belmont. So definitely give me a call at 704-422-4300.
Question, I just called that number, it says it's disconnected.
No, it's on my app. So let me give you my cell phone. It's 704-492-0874. So.
That's a beautiful
number.
Wow, classic.
I don't know. I have the Nexiva app, so maybe it's going something's going on with that. But, yeah.
No, that's good. That's a good. That would have sucked for somebody tomorrow. Be like, oh, she's out of business already.
Right now.
But yeah, so I do everything from tree removal to maintenance work orders to rehab. So definitely. Well, my cell phone is 704-492-0874.
Can you go slowly? Let me write it down. 704.
492-0874.
So what do you consider small rehab?
So now the project I'm doing in Belmont is like $15,000.
So you're fine with doing $500,000 of work? Yeah, it's all the annoying shit you don't want to deal with. Yeah, get to her. So,
yeah. And it is very annoying.
You know, it's amazing what I learned, what you can do for $28,000. You know what I mean? I mean, you can do like $100,000 rehab for $28,000 as far as city goes. Just saying. That's what my friends have told me.
So yeah, I have workers comp, general liability.
I mean, it would be too insured, all this stuff, right? It would be too obvious if you said 29.9.
You do cleaners under the house?
So I like to use 28.7, 28.8. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay, the guys want.
And then everybody rips me off for like 80 grand later. I'm like, oh well, I guess the scope balloon got out of control. All right. As everybody knows, that's, the contractor limit, you're supposed to have a contractor, general contractor for 30,000 above, right, that's the idea. Oh, no, wait, what the, how does it, shit. Somebody's supposed to ask me about novations, the novation guy in here, and then I'm supposed to go to the next slide and be like, oh.
Hey, that was 2 months ago.
It was 2 months ago, but then he came last month. And then 2 months ago, I was like, oh, I'm going to research novations, blah, 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 blah. I'll come back next month. And he came back next month. He's like, did you do anything with novations? I'm like,
You didn't do your homework.
So, we'll go ahead and do it. Oh, wait, but the guy's not here. I'll be ready next time. So the guy asked 2 months ago about novations, right? And I was like, well, that's just like, sounds like a guru stuff. Have you come across novations? Yes? That's fucking bullshit. All right.
It is.
Anyways, novations is Latin for new. Alright, lots of chatter.
Little nuance.
I think I should probably be a little bit more entertaining or caustic to a dance. So everybody shuts the fuck up. Start taking my clothes off. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's the next conversation, but I figured I'd just go ahead.
Is that why the chair there?
So you don't want to, you don't want to tell me, you know, I'm the guy that does it. And then you can't unsee it. All right, so we'll go ahead and do novations. We'll pretend like, oh, Scott, hey, did you actually research novations? And I'm like, oh, you know what, I did. And so here's this, novations versus assignments versus Scott's genius way. And so anyways, so everybody does assignments, right? Everybody knows what assignments is. You send over the assignment to the contractor, everything else does, right? Okay, well, there are some gurus out there now teaching novations, which novations basically just means you do a new contract, right? And so basically you, instead of assigning your contract, now you take the new buyer, and you have them sign a contract with the seller, right? It's just, you know, it's a cleaner way, so it happens a lot of times in real estate, right? Where you have to renegotiate the price after inspections, or whatever the case may be, or something ends up on a survey, or whatever, there's a problem, right, during the contract period, and then, you know, like the realtor sends something scribbled out and then scribbled back in and stuff like this, and then all the parties sign back up. You know, that's essentially a new contract, okay? That's a novation. The novation is a completely new contract, a little bit fresher, whatever it is. But it makes the old contract invalid, and now the new novation, which is the Latin word, is now the new contract, right? So apparently, some people are teaching, you know, instead of doing assignments, you know, then you do a novation, well, where you get your buyer to sign a contract with the seller, or whatever it is. I don't know why. I would love to know why you would do that. But I also want to know why the fuck you would assign your contracts, okay? Because here's the thing. Both novations and assignments, you're out of control. You've lost control, right? If you really assign your contract, you're no longer in it, right? And I don't know about you guys, but if you're trying to make 20 grand on an assignment fee, likely you're not going to get that up front, right? So you're going to get it at closing, right? But if closing never happens, because you assigned them the contract and you've lost control of it, because contractually you have lost control of it, okay? Then how are you going to force your $20,000, right? So both novations and assignments, you basically just given control from yourself to some other jackass, right? Right. So unless it's me, then don't worry about it. But you've given up control, right? So like, why would you do that? Like, why would you just go ahead and like, you know, you got your golden goose, and you're just gonna be like, oh, well, I'm gonna, you know, give you my golden goose, and then I'll hope that you pay me later, and that everything goes well, and you don't piss off the seller, or whatever the case may be, right? Now, the Scotch way is, you just sell them the house. Like, there's no assignment. Oh, the other problem with assignment fees, right, is you get this question on Facebook a lot, which is, the new buyer wants to see the original contract, right, of the thing, right? Well, so if you're signing the contract, it's kind of important, right? So if you're buying an assignment from somebody, it's kind of important to see the original contract, right? You know, and so then of course you don't want to show them the original contract. Why? Because you're making 50 grand on the deal, whatever the case may be, right? And frankly, I don't care how long I've done this is with somebody. If I'm making north of 10 grand, you know, I guess it's a little bit better nowadays. But let's say 20 grand on the contract. I don't want anybody knowing that until it's too late, right? Because, you know, we all say that it doesn't matter, but we all know that we're humans and it does matter, right? And so, like, it just makes renegotiating much more likely. But anyways, if you assign it to somebody, they have the right to see the original contract that they're assigning. It just creates all sorts of problems. But for me, all I do is I just sell them the house. You know? Just like, so a purchase and sales agreement, right? Like, so when you know, so if I'm gonna wholesale you something, then I'm just gonna have you, you know, I'm gonna be the seller, and you're gonna be the buyer, and we're gonna do a contract just like that. There's no assignment, right? Does that make sense? I'm just doing a new purchase and sales agreement, right? Do I have to own it to sell something? Right? I just have to deliver clear title at closing, right? Does that make sense? So stop doing assignments. And it's like, you know, not only that, but then everybody puts like and or signs on the contract. which is like, why? Because you know, unless the contract says it can't be assigned, all contracts can be assigned, right? The only exception is personal services, right? But most of you aren't earning personal services except for a couple in the back. Maybe, I don't know. Not you. But don't worry, I remember the non-disclosure on that. But anyways, so there's no reason to put and/or signs on a contract if it's like your contract and it doesn't say anything about like not assigning anything, right? Because you're basically just giving a heads up to the seller. You know, here's the thing, like Carlton Sheets, I don't know, you guys remember Carlton Sheets? Yeah, he's been teaching that stuff since the 80s, right? So there's not many people out in the world that don't know what and/or signs, you know, everybody's been up late night at 2 o'clock in the morning, you know, so they see the and/or signs come. And there's just no reason for you to sign the contract and get lose control. I would just say it's not really a genius way, but I just, you know, I never could understand why. Well, it is genius because I said it's genius. Right. Anyways, we'll go back to you guys and your questions. And we do bribe for participation. Drinks. Oh, yeah. So, if you have a question, I will give you an answer that may or may not be correct, but it'll seem awesome because I have such confidence.
Can you tell us about Novation? What?
Novation is a piece of shit agreement that a brewer's making a lot of money on and has no place in our business. Unless you're trying to buy a shopping mall or something else. Oh, you're the Novation guy, aren't you? Did you hear the Novation thing?
No, I was gone.
No!
Start over.
No! I just did the whole Novation front. Look.
I know, I saw that.
Wait. Oh, you saw it.
No, I walked in at the end when you guys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't do it.
So good or bad?
That's terrible.
That's a question.
Alright. So Novations is a new contract, right?
Yeah.
Assignment is giving away your contract. In both cases, you lose control. Like, there's no, like, why would you do that? My recommendation is just to sign a purchase and sales agreement, right? So if I have a house under contract, I'm going to sell you that house, okay? When I go to sell you that house, there's nothing that says that I have to own that house and sell it to you. I just have to deliver clear title to you.
So Novation, from what I understand, the way I did it was an agreement with the seller, the original seller, to let us rehab the property without taking an ownership of the property, which.
Well, that's an option.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll have to, so you've read stuff on this.
Yeah.
Send me the link to this, like, this must be like a special Novation.
Right, yeah. I mean.
But yeah, you can do an option if you want to just like, you know, not, you know, I mean, like an option to buy it, but you got to be careful with those, you know what I mean? And you know, like
Yeah.
if you put serious money out there and they still own the property, even though you have an option and all this other stuff, there could be problems.
Yeah, no, I agree.
All right. Okay, so, go,
Okay, I was just talking to George about this.
I didn't say anything.
Okay, hypothetical situation.
Hypothetical situation.
You're buying my house.
I'm buying your
You
house.
sell my contract to this guy, right? And then I'm calling and I don't get you, but I get this guy and I say, hey, wait a minute, I'm not happy with this. I know it seems premature or immature, I'm not sure, but what if I didn't like this guy and I said.
Well, that's why I don't recommend doing it that way. You know, I mean, most wholesalers, they'll assign it, but they don't assign it, they stay in control theoretically, they, you know what I mean, they keep the communication and stuff like this.
Okay.
You know, I mean, but, you know, you know, the thing is that how it legally is and how it goes down are two different things, right? I'm just saying that if you're gonna legally assign and send out assignments to people, right? That person has the right to see your original contract to see what they are actually getting into.
You mean the seller?
No.
All right, so if I'm the middle, so you're the seller,
Right.
I'm the wholesaler,
Exactly.
I'm assigning it to him,
But
okay?
are you telling me as the seller that, hey, I'm gonna assign our contract?
Well, I don't know what other people do. Like, but,
I'm just trying to, I mean, it seems kind of strange.
no, for me, the way that I do it is I don't assign contracts. I have a contract with you, And then if I'm gonna wholesale it, then I have a contract with him. That's it, okay?
And C never meet, that was the way.
Until, yeah, and I, they, you know, and they're not even gonna meet at closing, right? You know what I mean?
That's the right way to do it.
And, you know, so I have a contract with you, I have a contract with him, and you guys both show up on the same day, and then, and in which case I can either double close it, or I can put an assignment fee or something on there, or a marketing fee on there if I need to. I mean, I don't mind assigning it the last second as a legalese or whatever like this, you know what I mean? And the stupid attorney makes me sign something like this. You know what I mean? But as far as contractually go, up until the day of closing, I've got a contract with you, and I got a contract with them, and then you guys meet at the attorney's office, right? Because if he flakes, right, and I've already signed a contract or done a novation with him, then I'm really out of the loop, legally speaking, right? And so like when shit hits the fan, then what am I gonna do? Not only that, but now I gotta show him that I'm making X amount of dollars, or, and whatever. I know that the wholesalers gray it, or they black it out and stuff like that, and I guess that's okay and stuff. I mean, there's ways around it. I mean, there's maneuvers that people do, and it obviously works. And there's nothing wrong with them doing it that way. I'm just saying, why do it that way? You know what I mean? I think my way's better, and it doesn't make sense to do it that way. You know what I mean?
So, I'll be honest with you, the way you're doing it is the only way to do it, in my opinion, because I've had wholesalers that I've had to help them, and first of all, I could just move in and just ruin their deal and go and get it which I would never do, and that's why they trust me. But the point is, a lot of them screw it up. So you should never get your seller and your end buyer together. If you're the wholesaler, you're stupid for doing that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because you're the
Yeah,
only
with
reason
assignments is just somebody, here's the other thing too, is that if you assign a contract to somebody, right, okay, so here's the thing.
now you're out of it.
You're technically out of it, but not only that, but they can now contact the seller and renegotiate it, right? And so they can say, okay, well, now this contract's dead, I got a new contract. Well, now there's not, now here's the thing, so I guess you could sue them for the assignment fee, right? But you know how that works, like you're gonna try to sue somebody, right? You're gonna make 20 grand on the deal, and then you go to a litigator, the litigator's gonna be like, I need 5 grand to even talk to you, right? You know what I mean? So like, it's not practical, but if I have a contract with you, right, and I have a contract with him, okay? Now he, it's like, oh, screw Scott, he's making 50 grand on this deal, or he's making more money, or I don't like him, or whatever the case may be. Now, if he goes around and starts trying to talk to you, now I can sue him for interference of a business contract. Whereas if I assign it to him, I ain't got nothing.
Yeah, but if he flakes out 2 weeks before the close.
Yeah, and if he flakes out, then what? Then technically I've got to have him reassign it to me. Right. You know what I mean? So there's just, and like do these, again, it's like what happens in real life versus like what the legalese, like what the worst possible thing is. But I'm just saying, like, why set yourself up for problems when they're easily avoidable? You know what I mean? Like why go through all this stuff? You know what I mean? Like why even scan a document where it blacks out your contract price for the assignment? Like I don't have to do that. I'm just like, here, sign this paper. You know what I mean?
Isn't there a way to kind of like to avoid that kind of like situation from happening, like providing a clause in the contract?
A clause in what contract?
Adding a clause in the contract to the assignment.
Yeah, but you can always add clauses, and the thing is, people always like to add clauses, right? But like, like it's just easier. I'm gonna buy the house from you. I'm gonna sell the house to you. That's it. I got 2 contracts. I worry about her, I worry about him. You know what I mean? You start putting all these like clauses and funkiness stuff in there, and then you introduce an assignment contract with stuff. You know what I mean? Like it just.
Is this like a double escrow?
Well, that's the thing. You can do it either way. So like a double close or whatever it is. Like when I show up, like all right, if I'm gonna pay, well. So generally speaking, I will do an assignment at the end of the day, right? That's what will end up happening, right? But but I'll do it at closing, or what the attorney wants. Depends. Sometimes the attorneys will make me sign something or whatever, whatever. And then
he's going to nurture it all the way to the end. In other words.
Yeah, but I'm not going to do jack shit until the second before closing, right? You know what I mean? So like, I'm going to have complete control of her and him. You know what I mean? If I sell him the contract with her, now I'm out. Now, I might have a contract and all sorts of fancy clauses with him, you know, but in the real world, you know, I gotta sue him to enforce it sometimes. You know what I mean? And that's a nightmare. You know, that's a nightmare. You know, but if he never meets her and I have control, you know, then, and he flakes, or if he whatever, then I'm in control, and it's, you know, and the seller only knows me, and I just find another buyer, all right? So you're using transactional funding then? No, so what I'll do,
He's using the two contracts as an assignment, no assignments at all, he's just, instead of using an assignment, he's just using another offer to purchase contract.
see, this is how we used to do it back in the older days. We used to talk about assignments back in the day, I don't even know. But then when I woke up, after these new people running around with these assignments and stuff like that, I'm like, I was like, it's kind of weird, like, I don't want to start a headache. I'm like, you know, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna pay for your assignment. I'm like, well, if you're gonna sign me the contract, I want to see it. And then he said it all blacked out and stuff like this. And I'm like, well, you know, I don't know. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, why would you give up control? I mean, like, why would you give away the contract? You just give away your golden ticket. You know what I mean? Now, people maintain control, like in the real world, the wholesaler maintains control, and they don't, you know, they maintain all that stuff, so it's not really that big of a difference. I'm just saying that, you know, there's just no reason to give up control if you don't have it, you know, and, you know, that's all. But, when I go to closing, that's another decision. So now, do I get paid on the HUD, or do I do a double close? Well, so 99 times out of 100, it's a cash buy or hard money buyer, right? So then there's the other thing. So I do a blind HUD, right? So I'll do, you know, so depending on who I'm afraid of, you know, the most, right? Is, you know, whoever I think is dumber or smarter or whatever, you know, I'll put the money on one side or the other, right? Or I could put half on one side or half on the other. You know what I'm saying? See, because I'm in control. So if I'm making, you know, 30 grand on a deal, right? I can put the 30 grand on his side if I got a good relationship and he knows or whatever, you know, but he's gonna see that 30 grand last second, you know, last second. You know, and you know, but if I feel like, you know, you're a little squirrely, you don't want to see 15 grand, I'll put 15 grand on your side, and I'll put 15 grand on the seller's side. You know what I mean? Whatever it is. You know, it's a cash transaction, right? So, like, that was the one thing, well, there's one thing when they passed all the laws, like with the crash, you know, it used to be back in the day, you saw all the, I mean, they still do that kind of, it's like this, I don't know what happened. But, you know, they passed basically privacy laws where, you know, you don't have to see the other person's funds, what's going on the other side, right?
You used to be able to do a double close, back-to-back closes, and you didn't have to put up the money.
Well, I know,
But now.
you used to do dry closes.
Right, yeah, dry
Everything's
close.
wet.
Right.
But
Now
I'm saying
everything's wet, so therefore since, what's it,
transactional funding. But what I'm saying is, usually you're doing transactional funding, because you don't want somebody to know how much money you're making.
That's the only time you do it. If you're making 10 grand, no one's gonna, you know, but if you're making 100, you might wanna just like.
Right, but for those that missed the genius advice that just went by you, right? I'm saying is that if you think it's only 10 grand, what's the threshold for double close? For, somebody throw out a number. 20 grand. Okay? Well, if I put 10 grand on his side, I put 10 grand on your side.
That's true.
Then everybody's happy. And he's like, oh, you only make 10 grand. Like, yeah. And then you're like, what's the 10 grand? You're like, that's my, you know,
Yeah, but I can come up with 100 grand for 10 seconds.
well, yeah, not everybody's a baller like you. I mean, look at you. Look at that face. Look at that. If there's a guy with money, what face would they have in this room? That guy's got the money face. You know what I mean? Like if you're doing casting for the guy.
Oh, no, okay. Hey, listen, Travis is way better than I am, so.
You know what I'm talking about? Like, look at that. That's the money face right there. Look at that. Look at that.
So I got another. So, if you close on that, I mean, if you assign it or whatever, right, without double closing, that's considered income, right? But if you do a double closing, is that short-term capital gain?
No. I am not an accountant, lawyer, or anything else like that. I'm just a jackass in the front of the room. But I think it's all income, right? Yeah, it's all income.
Well, as long as it's inside a year, it's still the same thing, right? taxation only starts after you've owned it over a year.
Yeah.
So if you own it for 10 seconds or 6 months, what's the difference?
And if you want some advice that I would not take, but is legally true,
But you can check with your accountant to make sure.
do you know, it actually has nothing to do with time. Everybody uses the 1 year rule for between gains and stuff like that, but it has to do with intent. Well, there is there is short-term, long-term capital gains, right? But when you purchase it, if your intent is for it to be a long-term hold, right? And you can show that was right. It doesn't matter when you sell it. There was a court case back in the day. The developer bought like 100 acres, 200 acres, or whatever it was, right? And he was going to develop it into a neighborhood. And then the economy went south, so he never developed the neighborhood. So 10, 20 years later, he sold the 200 acres or whatever it was for a huge profit, and he made a whole bunch of money. And what did he do? He took the long-term capital gains or whatever it was. But the IRS, what they ruled was that no, your intent when you bought it was to generate income. So therefore it was, or whatever. I don't even know what's
Oh, that's really bullshit because that's really.
You know, again, that's the thing, is that there's legal stuff and then there's like real life, right? And so what I'm saying is the legal stuff says it's the intent on the purchase. And so, but in real life, everybody uses the 1 year, but you won't find the 1 year in the tax bill.
So Scott, in about 3 days, I'm talking to my accountant. I'm gonna tell him that every flip that I had last year, I intended on holding
Yes.
for longer.
Yes.
And Scott said, therefore, I shouldn't have to pay taxes.
Correct, yes, but you have to show, but the IRS would argue that you've been, but, all right, so here's the thing,
I had an intent of holding it, but I just.
okay, so can you swipe this card for $500 when it leaves, when I'm giving this advice on how you can get away with it? Okay?
It's her card.
So you have rentals, right?
Okay, yeah,
And that's probably in an LLC, right?
yeah,
Okay, and then you probably do the flips with an S corp, right?
yes. No.
If you're not, then I'm gonna charge you $1,000 because that's what you should be doing, theoretically. But, so again, it's intent. So, if you show a history of your LLC buying rentals, renting them out for the long term and blah, 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 right? Then that's the pattern. Then you got the Inc. The pattern is buying and flipping, right? Now, what if every now and then you come across a doozy of a deal? You buy it in the LLC. You get ready to rent it. You put a four rent sign, paper, something,
Take a picture of it.
with a screenshot.
Yep, you're damn right.
You start calling your property management company to rent that thing.
Email.
You do everything that you would normally do as a rental, and then a week later, you sell the shit for $1 million. And then you say, IRS, my intent was blah, blah, and here's the evidence of blah, blah, blah.
So why'd you sell it?
Huh?
So why'd you sell it?
Why did I sell it? Because some idiot in the back of the room offered me $1 million, and I couldn't, you know.
That's what you told her, right?
Yeah, again, it's the intent of the purchase, right? So, I mean, you know, nobody's mind readers except for me, and, you know, but the IRS, I mean, you know, they're government workers, so they're not mind readers, you know, they would be government workers, right? So, but so if you show them a pattern of paperwork, you know, of whatever, and again, that's only if they come up on an audit, you gotta prove your case and stuff like that. And again, and that's a situation where it's not evasion, it's just you're an idiot, or, you know, you misclassified it. That would be the worst that could happen. But you have to show patterns, right? So, yeah. And thank God this is recorded so that nobody will ever see it. Oh, where the hell did why is okay. Anyways, we'll do 2 more questions. Move on with our lives. Make them good ones though this time. Brutal. It's like why I don't get any questions. They're like, I don't want to deal with that shit.
So that
Uh-oh,
loophole that you
okay.
just mentioned, is that something that you've done in the past? If so, how did that look?
No. If I did, it was legit, but no. Hypothetically, my friend might have done it. No, you know. No, I can't think of a time when I did that. You know, it's sad enough. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to be juicy. You don't even have to be like, I mean, and, you know. No, so. I wouldn't say yes if I did, but really did not. All right, one more question. Besides, I'm just talking theory. Theoretically, these are things you could do. And theoretically, I could be wrong. Theoretically, again, when I say I don't vouch for anybody, I don't vouch for myself. Right. True thing. Okay. One more, come on. Somebody put us out of this misery. And by misery, I mean your misery, not mine, because I thoroughly enjoy it. Oh, this guy. I need a drink.
You were talking about the, you were saying like, what you were talking about before is different with that, let's go, how? What's the key difference
Oh,
between
well,
what you were describing?
well, so double escrow and you know, or an assignment of closing table, right? That's just the mechanics of what happens when you get to the table. You know what I mean? And so, you know, so, you know, when you assign it, or when you, or whatever, however you do it, you know what I mean, novation, assignment, my way, or whatever. I'm sure there's probably another way. You know, when you get to the closing table, there's different ways to do it, right? You can double close it, you know, you're familiar with double closing, right? Or just getting paid on the HUD, right? Then, well, here's another way to get paid. I'll a second. All right. But that's just the mechanics of the legalese stuff, right? I mean, but getting everybody to a table is a whole different thing. So any of those ways get you to the table, and then you tell the attorney, I'm going to double close this, or I'm going to sign it, or whatever like this, right? Now the other way to get paid, right, is you could just be like, well, you know, same way when you assign it, right? When you're assigning the contract, you know, theoretically, you get the payment then when you assign it, right? You know, but if it's a large amount, nobody's gonna give you 20 grand for an assignment of the contract, most likely, right? But you can do that last second after lawyer's stage, right? So you can just be like, hey, you know what? Here's the agreement. It's 20 grand. You know, you're gonna pay me 20 grand directly now, and then you guys go to you're at the closing table. Everything's good, and I'm out the door. Right, you don't have to necessarily wait for recording or anything like that, or it's not on the HUD anywhere, or it's just there.
You gotta hope that nobody backs out.
See the person signing the documents, and, you know, but that would be another way. But regardless, the mechanics of the actual thing when you get to the attorney's office is, you know, that can go any way for any of those ways. You know. But the point is to get to the table. Right. All right.
Kind of in line with what you just said there, but if you got a sizable assignment or potential for that, why not
Just wait for the smell.
your initial purchase and sale?
There's a lot to be in the smell later.
And then get paid to release that close.
Okay, so the question was, if you've got a sizable amount, why not record the sales agreement and then release it upon whatever, right? So oftentimes with a sizable agreement, what you're trying to avoid is people knowing how much you're making until it's too late, right? Right, but the other thing is too, is that they're no longer letting, most of the time, they're no longer letting a single-sided contract be recorded or enforceable. They'll let it record, you know what I mean, but the attorneys will record right over it. So then that would require having notarized for the seller and yourself. You know, and then you can just do a memo I mean, you could make it a habit, you know, depending on like what your pain tolerance is for like going to the bank or going somewhere to get a notary or whatever like this, and how many times you've been screwed out of a contract. You could make it a good, like I would never record the actual contract, right? Because I would never want my negotiating position to be known anyways. You know what I mean? Even if it's a great deal, right? I would never want my negotiating position to be known. And I wouldn't want anybody to know how much money I'm making until it's too late, right? You know? Even though we all pretend like we don't care, but we do care, right? Because we're human. But then I would just record a memorandum with the seller, right? And then I would just make that a habit. You know what I mean? But you know, I never really, I think it only happens to be, well, yeah, it did happen to me once, but I did have a memo back in the day when it was somewhat enforceable. You know, not only that, but if you kind of like use Harry, like everybody, that's fans of using the attorney that everybody else uses. Like if Harry has a good relationship with you, you know, he probably won't close over it, or who knows, you know, but you just have to hope that your relationship is better than the other guy. But, you know, so there's that, but, you know. I don't think, it doesn't, for me, it doesn't happen enough to whatever, you know, but it just depends on the level of paranoia and how strong the deal is. You know, but if the seller insists on getting like certified funds for your down payment or something like that, or whatever, then if you're at the bank, you might as well, you know what I mean? So, it just depends on your paranoia level. All right, we'll move on. Go to the next thing, Mr. That would be, what would it be? What is my presentation on? Oh, blunders. Squirrel? Pretty nice. I like chasing the squirrel. Blunders of real estate investors. You might recognize this presentation as mistakes of real estate investors. For those that are regulars, I figured I'd, you know, con you into seeing another stupid presentation. Even though you're all here for Travis, I know. Okay. Woo! Believe it or not, but there's plenty of times and opportunities to fuck up in real estate. And if you kind of fucked up in real estate and made a bad mistake that cost you a lot of money, well then, you know, wait a couple of weeks. This is the biggest one, I think, especially for the new people, is analysis paralysis, right? Just, yeah, just one more course, one more strategy, gotta make sure all of my documents are perfect. Gotta, you know, figure out everything, I don't know. It's endless. Like my buy and sell agreement says, I'm gonna buy your house, you're gonna sell me the house, we're gonna clear title, and we're gonna show up closing, and then that's it. It's like a one page, it's in big print, you know. It's real easy. And I actually won a great deal that I made 100 grand on because mine was one page, and the other person, same price, used to cut off a realtor contract. And the little old lady was like,
I like yours because it's a one page and I can read it. I don't know, I'm not going to read all 20 pages. Here, take my property.
Thank you. So, anyways. But analysis paralysis, that's exactly how she sounded earlier. You know, the thing is that, you know, just get going. Like, you know, you're going to screw up. Like, everybody's afraid of, like, screwing up, right? You know, the biggest screw up I think you can do is by not doing anything, right? And, it is amazing. It is amazing, and I'm sure you've seen it, Travis, in your guru travelings, you know, where people will just buy endless courses, endless books, and keep going, and never do a darn thing. Dealitis. I got this early on, where you get a couple deals, right, and they're good and stuff like this, but now you go through a dry spell, right? You guys know what I'm talking about, dry spell. Especially that guy. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, dry spell.
Oh, I know about dry spell.
That's a different dry spell.
Can't bring in those properties, oh my God. It's like,
George,
don't
we can
wait
talk.
my
Just talk about our performance on the phone, not in bed.
Honey, nobody was going there.
Oh
my God.
I hate to tell you the whole.
I went there a couple other directions.
Yeah, he went there, I
Don't worry about it. But anyway, but in the beginning, you know, so I had like dealitis because I had like three or four great rehabs, right? And then I went like a month or two, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna get a deal again. And you know, like I got a good little system, I got some crews, I got, you know, like this is good, you know. And so then I bought a deal with marginal numbers or whatever. And this deal, and it was on Flamingo Avenue, and I lived there for a while, which is, Chad will recognize the name, Flamingo. Yeah, you old guy.
Thanks for the help.
And, yeah, he's excited because, are we going to be done before you?
Oh, you know I'm buying it?
What?
Oh, well.
You're buying my house?
No, the one 2 doors down.
Oh, no, I don't know anything about Flamingo. You buying something on Flamingo?
A few doors down from yours in Rockford.
It's on Flamingo? Anyway, what?
Flamingo LLC.
Is my name, yeah, exactly right. So I used to live on Flamingo. But anyways, but this house was on Flamingo, and it was great too because I lived there for a few years, And I got to pass by that house every time and relive all the mistakes I made on this house. So anyways, so that was a house, I had dealitis, I forced the deal, and I thought I was only gonna make 20 grand, but I only lost 10, right? I think that's the only deal that I lost money on, it was terrible. But it shows up, there's 2 more mistakes on that was a great house, let me tell you. Quitting your day job. So I've seen people like, they have like a good day job and stuff like this, and they get a couple rehabs going, and then they're like, well, this is good, I'm gonna quit my day job. Well, that's terrible. That's a terrible idea. A couple things. One is that I don't know what job's paying nowadays, but let's say it's 100 grand. Okay. Well, you get 3 rehabs at 40 grand each, right? Everybody's like, well, that replaces my income, but it doesn't, right? Because now that's 120 minus the taxes and all this other crap. But not only that, but if you make the 120, what happens to the 120, right? Remember the Homer Simpson thing? It goes into marketing, it goes into business overhead, it goes into all sorts of stuff. Like, so the stuff that you make is not really the stuff that you make, because that just goes back into your business, right? Not only that, but now without a job, now you can't get financing for jack shit, right? So now you've given up favorable financing. I mean, in the perfect world, you would keep your day job, you'd load up on 10 properties and get that beautiful W-2 financing or whatever, and then quit your job or whatever like this. But you really need to probably double or triple your income before you quit your job, right? Because not only that, but maybe you just got lucky. Or who knows what the point is? But there's no, like, if you're doing well part-time, like with a job, then just keep it going. And then yes, if you're thinking about quitting your job, right, then you should start a company, and because it takes you 2 years before you can get, well, this is back in the day, and I got financing. I think it's probably still 2 years, right? So you have to be self-employed for 2 years before you get financing. So there's a period of time when people will quit their job, right? They'll have like a 900 million credit score and $1.2 million in the bank and great whatever, and they're like, no, we can't give you a loan. We can't give you a loan because you don't have a W-2, and we can't give you a loan because you haven't been self-employed enough. And they're like, well, wait a minute, I got $1 million in the bank and I got a 900 million credit score. They're like, sorry, screw you, right? So, but if you have a corporation or a business or whatever, and you show that you've been in business for 2 years, right, then you can hit the ground running. Does that make sense?
I think it's 3 years now, to be honest.
Is it 3 years?
I mean, I don't think that I've done, they keep asking for 3.
Well, they might ask for 3, but they might want to see you self-employed for 2. But that would be a good question to ask your mortgage broker, which is how long do you have to be self-employed before you're loanable, right? Or before you can qualify for loans. Because there's a period of time where you qualify jack shit.
Well, when we moved down here, I couldn't get a loan. They said, because I changed industries.
Did you send them a headshot? I mean, can you not get a loan on your headshot?
I'm telling you, they told me I had to wait 3 years. So I just had to pick
3 years? Yeah, okay, so it might be 3 years.
At least that's what it was.
There's probably like jackasses like me that were like self-employed for 2 years. They're like, okay, we're not doing that anymore. We're gonna make sure that they're employed for 3 years.
Well, the biggest difference was for me was I changed industries.
10 years from now, they'll be like, oh, 4 years.
Yeah.
Number 4 is waiting for a wholesaler to send you a deal. If your business is contingent on other people, right? Because the lifeblood is deals, right? So if you're a rehabber and your business is contingent on other people sending you deals, right? That's called bad idea. Like I don't know where they teach that in Harvard Business School, but I'm sure it's in there somewhere, right? Which is where like you're not what do they call that? Like vertically integrated or something? Horizontally. I don't know what it is. I just know like from the streets, that's a bad idea, right? Like you're selling drugs, right? You need a couple suppliers. You know what I'm saying? Because one's gonna run dry, you gotta go over here to get this. You gotta have multiple avenues, right? Or you gotta grow your own. I'm just saying. You gotta have multiple avenues. So if you depend on one person, that's your whole business, it's gonna hit the fan eventually. Pay your contractor up front. Who's not learned this lesson? Who's not learned this lesson like a few times? I'm a contractor, I learned. Huh?
I do contract now, Larry.
Yeah, because there's always exceptions, there's always whatever, but there's just an amazing amount of ways that you can get burned by a contractor or whatever, but the rule of thumb, which should be always that you only pay somebody, you know, at any time, somebody should walk away and you should be in a better position than it was, right? So if, as soon as you pay somebody, if you're not in a better position, if they leave, then you should pay them. Does that make sense? And you know that if you, this is what I love about contractors. I know you're not like this, Ernie, but I don't know if you've ever hired somebody to come in after somebody else. But it's always like, oh, this guy didn't know what he was doing. Like, this 2x4 should have been this and it should have been over here. Why did you do that? Oh my God, this is terrible. I'm gonna have to charge you like triple. All the time, right? I don't care. You can have the best relationship with contractors, but there's like a switch that goes on in a contractor's brain when they come in behind somebody because they're pissed off you didn't hire them in the beginning. And they have to look at somebody else's work and the prices just triple. Oh, this one, I love this house. This is great. This was in Wilmore. You can find this house if you want to. Oh, you can't really see it. Oh, that's great. What? That's, I don't, can you see what's going on there? Oh, that one sucks. Okay, there you go. All right, so I bought that square, right? That's a nice little house in Wilmore. On the way to closing, no joke, on the way to closing, the attorney calls me, he says, hey, by the way, what is that building in the back of the house? I'm like, oh, that's the garage. He's like, did you know you don't own your garage? I was like, fuck. No, I did not own the garage. Who would have known? It's painted the same color. It's, everybody thought it was, you know, like people lived there forever. The neighbor lived there forever. You know, they got the shit out. It's painted the same. It looks the same. But what the hell happened?
Did the other guy know he owned that
No,
garage?
nobody knew.
But wait, how long had, because what's that called, like 7-year title?
No, it's first off, North Carolina has the worst adverse possession rules in the world, okay? I thought about moving from North Carolina just over the adverse possession laws, okay? Maybe I should do this, actually, frankly. I should go to South Carolina. You know what the law is in North Carolina for adverse possession?
Over 25 years?
It's like 22 years.
That was 20, yeah.
In Texas, it's like 3 months and like, you know, a shotgun and it's yours, you know? And here, we gotta wait 22 years. Because there was a house on Florida Avenue. I'd probably be the winner now. There's a house on Florida Avenue about for $40,000. And, but it was a guy and he just died, he had no heirs, whatever. So I was like, oh, let me look into adverse possession laws and blah, 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 right? And, you know, the attorney was like, yeah, well, yeah, that's fine, you know, just gotta wait 22 years. Yeah.
Well, there's still laws around it.
But anyways, but here's the thing though, it's adverse.
Right, but adverse possession, if you go over to the guy and you tell him, hey, by the way.
But if they don't know about it, if they don't know that you didn't.
Just roll.
And at any time, within the 21 years, 22 years, they realize they own it, you know what I mean? Like some genius is gonna figure it out eventually, you know? And then they just say, oh, by the way, that's my garage, fuck you. Like, they'll probably do it on the 19th year. Right? 20 years and 12 months, whatever it is. But anyways, no. So yes, so I learned then, I mean, that was probably, I don't know, that was probably like the 15th or 20th house, like I was like someone new. You know, it's at this time when you're starting to buy a lot of houses, you don't like have time to check everything. And yeah, so I did not own the garage, it was really weird. And so I went to the neighbor and I said, hey, you know, being Mr. Smooth, he's like, hey,
It's the same color, it's
there's a paperwork issue. There's a paperwork issue with this thing. There's like, you know, legally, there's like the garage. I just need you to sign this paper. I'll give you $1,000. Don't worry about it. But the, you know, the problem is she had a mortgage on it, right? So
Big Counter had to get.
I would not, even if she had signed the paper, I would not have owned it until she refinanced it or something else later or whatever. You know, but that was a risk. You know, that's just a risk. That's better. There's a better chance than nothing, right? Or selling it or whatever. But of course, you know, she's like, oh, well, let me talk. And I was like, okay. You know, like a week later, like, okay, how about $5,000? Anyways, and, you know, I think it's still not, you know. But anyways, we still made money on that, but you know, it was interesting. So always look for GIS. The other thing about GIS is that you want to look up, what's the most important thing to look up on GIS? Flood zone, fucking flood zone. So, you know, you always want to look at flood zone because you'll be surprised how many things are in flood zone that you didn't realize were in flood zone, you know. And not only that, but
If you do a good, have an attorney who does a good search, then they can tell you, yes.
oh, yes, well, the attorney, well, I don't want to depend on anybody to do my, you know, due diligence, but I don't know. Anyways, but usually you're negotiating it or whatever. I'm just saying you need to know up front like what's in the flood zone or not. But not only that, but there's like buffers and swim buffers and all this other buffers and stuff like this. And if you're in a buffer and stuff like that, there are ways, sometimes you get a way around it depending on the situation and the buffer and all this other stuff, with the grandfather, whatever. There's sometimes there's exceptions that you would want to check with the city. But generally, when you click the, you know, you click the buffers and click the whatever, and then you know, and then just make sure like all those waves of gray are not like near you, you know. And again, I mean, things are fixable sometimes, right? You know what I mean? But you need to know going into it.
So a big one that we learned this last year was buffers. You got, like this lot right there, let's just say it's 140 feet back. If there's a creek, that's like 40 feet from the back. So you only now have 100 feet. And now you want to build a 100-foot house, a 50-foot house in length. And now you got to be 30 feet away from the buffer zone from a creek.
Yeah, you gotta have all the buffer zones.
They changed
all the buffer
your
zones.
whole,
And there's
way you can build on.
there's the ways around some of them in certain cases and others, and it's confusing. It's not worth memorizing. You know, just know. But if the grade comes through, you got it.
Yeah, but if it's an active creek at all, you got to be minimum 30 feet away.
Yeah.
This information for people.
Yeah. And those are that's what I'm saying. Like so you might not be in a flood zone, right? But yeah, you got a creek or you got like underground creek or you got something going on. You know, you just got mysterious things where the gray area pops up. I'm just saying, I looked up on the GIS, I clicked all the buffers and stuff like this, and I see gray, and I'm like, what the fuck is this gray? Like, where is this coming from? I'm just saying, just click on it. The other thing, too, that you should click on is zoning. Because you know, sometimes it'll be zoned multifamily 22, or it'll be zoned something else, or whatever, and they're using it as a house, right? So now you know, like, whoa. You know, like, you know, if I clicked on this, like, so for example, like on Kingston, I don't know, I mean, that was probably 200 yards away from Triumph, right? What if I clicked on that, and it was zoned multifamily 22, right? Would that not be pretty valuable in Wilmore for some townhouses, even if you could get 3 or 4 townhouses on there, right? You know? And so you've got some of that zoning flying around here and there, you know what I mean? Like, and it's just, you know, it's just there. It's hanging out in the middle of the neighborhood or whatever it is. Oh, not checking if the house had water, city water or sewer. So, so this is the house with the dealitis on Flamingo Avenue. Well, I mean, I don't think there's like, it's, you know, like the Flamingo Avenue is pretty close to town, right? So like, well, obviously it has city water or sewer, right? Like I turn on the water, I flush the toilet, you know, like everything's fine, right? So, I sell that house, I lose like a few thousand or whatever it is I lost at that time before the whole shit hit the fan. We got a call like a couple months later. The realtor's like, "Hey, Scott, by the way, the buyer called and said that their septic system backed up on them." I was like, "Oh." She's like, "Yeah, oh." I didn't know that. Luckily, all we had to do was pay to have it pumped and whatever else. Whatever the cost was, I think we got away with like $3 grand, right? I think it was like $3 grand. But they could have, right, asked for a new tap. Yeah, it could have been, because I think we had to put in a new septic. I don't know, $3 grand was the damage, right? But it could have been easily 10 grand if we had to get a new tap, plumber, all that stuff, whatever it is, you know what I mean? And probably hotel room at the Ritz while, you know, they wait for their house to be done. Who knows, you know? So now, every time I get the water hooked up, I ask them, you know, is the sewer on there too, right? Because I mean, at the time, I was just a kid, you know, you just like get the water on, like, you know, like you just do the bill, it comes in, it's 30 bucks, you pay it, or whatever. And then she was always like, well, you gotta read the bill to see if sewer's on. I just ask them now, but when I get hooked up, I say, you know, is there sewer on this stuff? Even worse, I bought this house, the sewer was not on the house, right? And I'm like, oh, no, here's one of the house, we've got the septic system. And then, you know, there's a little hole. It's like, oh, fuck, the septic is collapsed. So then I call out the septic people to give me a bid to do a new septic tank or whatever. And they go out there and I'm like, no, there's no septic tank, it's tied into the sewer. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's good news. But there's no sewer on the bill, and the city doesn't know that we're on the sewer. So I called the city, I said, hey, city, we're on your sewer, right? Because it's going into your fucking sewer pipes, but we got your water, you know, so you need to charge me for the sewer. 6 months later. No, it was probably 9 months later. It's probably like 6 months of like rehabbing, right, or whatever it was, and then you know, and then the pressure to get it done or whatever, and then it sold like 2 or 3 months later. But it took them forever. And the only reason that I got them done was because I saw some like city water sewer guys that were marketing or doing something like this, and I'm like, are you here to verify that I'm on the sewer? Because I am. And they're like, no, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, come here. And they came in and they figured it out, and then they called in and it was done. You know, but it was like completely done. So that's just a nightmare. But the problem is, you know, the realtor and I, who've already been burned by it, we didn't want to be like, yeah, it's on the sewer, right, but not have documentation, not like, you know, for me, I was like, yeah, this is a great bonus. Why don't we just tell the buyer that they've got free sewer for life? You know, but he who hesitates loses, right? You guys are familiar with that saying in high school, so I won't repeat it. He who hesitates loses. Yeah, so you gotta be quick, right? So if it's a good deal, you gotta go fast. You know, the good deals don't last. You know, actually shitty deals don't last. Not running your own comps. I never understood this, but this is like a regular complaint I hear like once a year for somebody that says that like, oh, well, so-and-so said that it was gonna be worth this when I'm done, or that it was a rental and so-and-so said it was gonna be worth this when I was done. And it's not. And I'm like, well, I mean, I don't know about you, but like when I go to Harris Teeter, well, I don't go to Harris Teeter. When I go to Walmart, you know what I mean, and I'm like looking at trash bags, you know what I mean, I'm looking at the like per trash bag, it's like 7.8 cents. And I'm like, this one, I'm like, no, I don't want the scented for 8.2. Like I'm sweating over that 0.4 cents, right? You know what I mean, I'm not at the Travis's level. He doesn't go for like, he just pays people to go get trash bags. And he's like, I want them gold line trash bags. You know, I'm tired of this like silver trash bags. I want gold line trash bags. Scented everything, I don't care.
He's selling it back.
Right. But we all sweat over all these financial decisions. But you know, but then you know, when it comes to buying a $100,000 house or $200,000 house, like it's a rental, it's like, oh well, Joe said it was worth $200,000. You know, like why not? You know, it's like they got, you know, I don't know. What do you work 2 years to get $200,000. You couldn't put in 2 hours or 2 weeks or whatever the hell it takes to figure out what something is worth. Like, you know, that's kind of an important thing, right?
Like 10 minutes.
Well, yeah, but you get better. But like in the beginning, you know, when I was doing it, like comps were taking me 3 or 4 hours because I was sweating the details and stuff like this. I mean, but you know, but anyways, yeah, like if you're gonna buy something for $100,000, you know, that's like real American money, right? That's not like, you know, funny money. Just because somebody's gonna give you the money to like, you know, you're gonna borrow it, you actually have to pay it back. You know what I mean? And if it goes on forever, you know, that $100,000 is going to be like $300,000 loan by everything. So run your own business, yeah. Not partner anymore. So back in the day, I used to just borrow money because, you know, when you borrow money, you know, you don't have to partner and you make more money. But the thing is, with partnering, it takes away the risk and then you survive the downturns, right? So if you're using somebody else's cash, you can survive the downturns, right? And, you know, somebody in this room would probably have a dozen houses in Belmont, you know, paid off and whatever. You know, I own half of 12 houses. And an apartment complex, we're only getting to an apartment complex. Partner. Usually somebody else's numbers. Same kind as comps, I don't know, and it's like this means. But, you know, if Again, same idea. It's your money, use your numbers. Not sticking to the formula study of being conservative. You see this on my Facebook every now and then. It's like, well, oh, you guys still using that 70% formula? It's so outdated. It's, you know, like, it's so hard to get deals with that. I'm like, well, you know, there's a reason why there's a fucking formula, right? Because that's the business, right? Like every business has their margins, and that's our margin. And if you want to find out why you shouldn't be buying at 80%, well, go ahead and buy it at 80%, and then you'll find out in a couple of years why you shouldn't be buying at 80%.
Come talk to this guy.
Now, that's for flips. Now, like you do long-term holds, you do flips or whatever, it doesn't even matter. You know, it's all about income and everything else like that. But if you're doing flips and you're not doing it at 70%, then you will find out sooner or later why that's the formula. Okay? And yeah, in this market now, when it's appreciated by 20% by the time you're finished with it, you know, like next week or whatever, then yeah, you're fine, right? But eventually the musical chairs stop, you know, and then it's like real life. No, but I don't know about you guys, but by the time you pay for lumber and like go over budget and everything else like that, that's pretty much all the appreciation, that's what it pays for anyways. Unsecured loans, right? Unsecured loans is basically a gift. A loan to a family member is basically a gift. A loan to a friend is basically a gift, right? You know what I'm saying? That's what it is, right? So if you're gonna loan somebody money, their friends, families, whatever, it's gonna be unsecured, just know it's a gift, okay? And if you don't think it's a gift, then wait.
They'll let you know it's a gift.
Huh?
They will let you know it's a gift.
Yeah, they won't let you know it's a gift. They'll just figure it out after they overturn it all.
Automatic write-off.
Yeah. I'm not saying not do them, I'm just saying don't do them if you don't, you know, like, you know, you're gonna write off a friendship, family, whatever. In some families, particularly mine, you know, it might be a good idea just to loan your family money. You'll never hear from them again. No, not going over for Thanksgiving, they owe me money, or, you know. Be good, you get out of everything. Second mortgages. So when I was buying, fixing, and rehabbing, I took out a lot of second mortgages. So, so when you're doing a lot of rehabs, it takes up a lot of cash flow, right? So I know people do this today, and I'm not saying not do it, but you do the second mortgage to kind of take out your equity so you can move on to the next flip. I mean, you don't take it all out, you still make it safe for the investor and stuff like this. But, like any kind of rehab or any kind of thing, you're gonna have a lot of money into it. You wanna pull your money out so you can move on and keep the cycle going. And that's all well and good. But second mortgage guy needs to know that he's gonna get fucked eventually. So I had a guy, and I feel sorry for him, but I did say you shouldn't be doing this, and whatever. But he was doing, he just always did the second loans. And I said to him, look, you should do some first loans, right? Because, like you're in a bad position, or like you're second loans. And then when the music stopped and the crash happened, the poor guy lost all about 200 grand on me, or whatever thereabouts, right? And, I still lose sleep a little bit over that. But I did warn him. I did say, hey, Don, you've got enough money. Hey, dude, you've got enough money. You could do some firsts here. And just do some seconds or whatever like this. But, anyways. But the thing is, though, if you do seconds, then they need to be, and that's the problem with seconds, really, is that usually people are doing seconds because they don't have enough money to do the firsts, right? So when they don't have enough money to do the first, then they also don't have enough money to protect themselves. So what ended up happening is that he did protect himself on one house, right? So that house was made full, and actually he just recently sold it a few years ago, and they made money, it was all fine. Now he could have done that with all the houses, he would have been fine, right? But he couldn't do that with all the houses, right? Because he didn't, because you didn't have all the money, right? So if you do seconds, if you're lending seconds or borrowing with seconds, then they should be prepared to be able to protect themselves, right? Either make payments on the first or take out the first, whatever the case may be. I'm just saying it's a recipe for disaster eventually. I'm not saying not do it, just know that you should do it in moderation, whatever. And that's it. A couple questions, and then we'll do a bio break for your non-binary members of society. And please make note, it's hilarious, on the bathroom, there's a secret bathroom I'm not supposed to talk to you about because I always go there and it's vacant. But it's funny, because it's hilarious. They've got a sign on the door that says, if you're standing up, wear a mask. So I'm like, what? If we stand up and pee, we have to wear a mask? So bizarre. So weird. It's on the bathroom door. See what I'm saying? I mean, I always said, I'm just saying for the rest of you guys, you know, I'm not gonna talk about watching my balls at the same time. I'm not gonna go there. Is that too far?
It's never too far.
It's R-rated.
I said I wasn't gonna talk about it. I didn't say anything about the bolt bath and studs and everything else with that. You know. I mean, it's got a whirlpool, kind of, you know. Little tool. Intermission. Yeah, go before I get myself in more trouble. All right, that's tough. If you don't have to go to the bathroom, you're not drinking enough.
You're not casting out enough of those,
Oh.
drink tickets.
Oh, yeah? Who's back talking? Oh, you get split some money to buy you drinks. There you go.
Hey, you gotta care about that.
I don't want business fees. I'm not worried about COVID. That's something else. I might be.
Once and a half. This one was a stupid mistake. Luckily I'm good at chess. Luckily. I'm not good at chess. 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 If I would have lifted it, I would have her name was under
Would you like another Corona?
Oh, I didn't look at the. Well, it was really funny because I just told her on the I told her tonight, we gotta call them in on the radio.
Like you, same exactly.
All right.
I was gonna let her tell you like tomorrow.
Let's get this ball rolling. The only reason why you're here, and the only reason why you suffer through my poor humor and tackiness.
You know what you're dealing with.
All right. Woo! Drums in the house. Ladies and ladies and non-binary things. Whatever you castrated males of America today, I don't even know what you guys are called.
When you're not male or female or it or
Z?
Confused?
fluid.
Fluid. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know. Yeah, I'll go through whoever you want to be, whatever. So sorry for, I don't mean it. Strike that from the record. I'm just saying that there's not a bunch of dudes in here. You guys look like non-dudes. I'm the only manly guy here. I'm here to kick everybody's ass. Alright. Huh? It's just me overcompensating. I'm just trying to compensate, you know. Trying to puff my chest a little bit. I've been practicing since like 12, you know what I mean? I'm still working on it, you know, and one day I'll get there, so I'm like, really? You know, copy that's all I need to do. But anyways, enough of that crap. This is Travis Howard, and if you guys don't know who he is, I don't blame you, nobody does.
Hell no.
Well, anyways, whatever. Travis Howard's legendary, he's been in Charlotte Real Estate for a while, his dad was in Charlotte Real Estate, and he did a whole guru speaking thing for Rich Dad Poor Dad, and you know, and he built a crazy, large, big ass business that's just unfathomable. And I probably shouldn't have called him the Beast, because the Beast is like, you know, like a little leprechaun compared to Travis. I just, you know, frankly, I just want to make this intro as long as possible, because I feel like as long as I share the stage with him, I can help, like,
Because a positive
feel better about myself. Anyways, Travis, they manage a crap load of properties, and by manage, I mean own and run it.
Yeah.
Travis is just fucking.
I just sit there.
He's just the whirlwind that generates all the shit that she's got to deal with.
Pretty much.
But he does a whole bunch of rehabs, and he does a whole bunch of stuff. I don't even know what he does anymore. I can't keep up. I don't know. But he's going to tell us about how incredible he is, because he truly is. He's even actually kind of a nice guy. It's weird.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know Travis, he owns about 25% of Charlotte.
Yeah. Plus or minus 10. But yeah, he actually is kind of a nice guy, you know, and you know that if he wasn't a nice guy, I would say he's an asshole, but he's not. I wish I could say he's an asshole. I wish I could be better than him in some area, but apparently I can't. But, so anyway, so this is Travis motherfucking Howard.
Hey guys, how y'all doing tonight?
Good.
Glad to be here. Scott hit me up last week. He's like, come on down. I was like, yeah, I'm in town. Let's do this. So he asked me what my talk was going to be a couple days ago, and I've been in the business for a while. Actually, kind of tell you a little bit. I started back in '99. So I started with wholesaling. Some of you guys are just wholesaling or have been wholesaling or wholesale properties to me or whatever it might be. I did that and still do that till today. I will never stop wholesaling. It's taking money off the table whenever you shouldn't. And before I even get into me, I've got my team here. This is a part of my team. We've got about 15 people in my office that work there on a daily. But I got Mike. Mike, can you raise your hand real quick? Mike. And then Henry's right here down at the bottom. We got Terrell, and then we have my amazingly beautiful wife, Lou. That's brilliant.
The real boss.
And she's the real boss, you're damn right. So we'll go with that, right? And I'm gonna get into the whole conversation of how I use my team. You know, we run a 7-figure business, like net, not gross. We do a lot of profits. So whenever I have a chance to speak to a group like you guys, I always try to give you value, and then hopefully you'll give me some value by bringing me some deals, or whatever it might be, private funding, however, whatever it might be. We work together somehow over the next 6 to 12 months. And I've been teaching for 17 years doing this stuff. I worked with Rich Dad for Kiyosaki for about 12 years, teaching classes for him. So I absolutely loved it. It was a lot of fun. And as I'm sure you guys know, Corona's pretty much knocked that shit out of the park. It's no longer pretty much, so. See what happens down the road. I lived through the recession. Anybody else who, show of hands, who went through the last recession? And I know some of us that are in here, Lori and Scott. We went through hell and back, didn't we, Lori? Yeah, where's Scott at? Where do you guys at? Went through hell, yeah? I mean, it was pretty shitty.
Experience.
It was an experience. It was a journey, fucking journey, let's say. We learned a lot of lessons. This is kind of what this is going to be about tonight. Is I'm not going to tell you any technical stuff. I'm not going to teach you how to wholesale. I'm not going to teach you any of that shit. There's tons of other places that you can go and do that. What I want to teach you is a business piece of what I look at 32,000 feet every day. And I've got my team. We've got 50 or more people that I on payroll every week. And I have to make sure that they feed their family. Like, that's my goal. And I used to sleep, or not sleep with, because I didn't have a deal or whatnot. Now I don't sleep whenever I don't have enough deals because I can't get my employees to feed their family. And that's a whole different feeling. Like, completely different feeling. And some of us have actually discussed that at length. George and I have had that conversation. You're working for a different reason, a different love, I guess you could say. So we went through the recession. I thrive on competition. My favorite thing to do is build teams. Some of us in here are great at building teams. Who definitely knows you're great at building teams? Raise your hand real quick. Building teams. Like you're the leader position, right? Because that's something I want to go into in depth with you guys throughout the PowerPoint. I hate PowerPoints, but I have to put something together for a couple minutes that I'm up here. What I'm looking for is any asset class. I don't give a shit what it is. It could be trailers, it could be a trailer park, we own them, apartments, we own them, houses, multifamilies, land. I don't care what it is. We buy in North Carolina, we buy in certain parts of South Carolina. So if you guys have deals, please feel free to contact us. I'm going to give you contact information at the end of the night. Buying criteria, it's really stupid, simple. Does it make money? I have so many newbies or new folks that are like, oh, would you buy this? I'm like, does it make any fucking money? Yeah, I'll take it if it can make me money. If it doesn't make me money, then guess what? I'm not going to buy it, right? So if it makes me money, fantastic. If it doesn't, well, I'm going to move on. Daily routines. So this is something that I think about on a daily basis, is I need to get me into a routine. This is to help you build your business. Like I said, I'm not going to do technical, how to wholesale, how to lease option, how to do subject to. I'm not going to do any of that stuff. I'm going to teach you how to actually build a team tonight as quickly as I can with the time that we have. I do little things every single day. So people will come in and intern with me. And they're like, oh, can I work with you for a day? I'm like, do you have any clue how boring that's going to be for you? Like, it is absolutely boring. They're like, well, yeah, but I'm going to see you do deals. I'm like, no. I'm not the one that's always doing the deals. It's my team. I just help whenever there's stupid shit that happens. I'm the one that puts out fires. I'm the one that helps whenever somebody needs something or if they can't figure out a process or a system. That's whenever I come in. You have to be consistent with you and your team on a daily basis, and a weekly basis, and a monthly basis. Who's trying to build their team right now and having some difficulty? Raise your hand real quick. Okay. Avi, what's up, man? What is your number one thing that is kicking your ass right here? Your Achilles heel for growth and building your team?
Not knowing what to give.
not knowing what to give them? Oh, what to delegate? Great point. All right, so I have come to a conclusion with all the different employees and partners that I have. You have to kiss a lot of frogs, right? That's always going to be the case. But this is the big part that I learned from one of my mentors that does about 100 million a year right now. He sat down and he said, look, once you get to the point with a person that can do 80% of your shit, it's time to back out, give it to them. So hopefully, just that little piece helps you. Literally, it is the most difficult thing because why? It's your baby. That's what you took all this blood, sweat, and tears and all the shit that you went through, and then you're going to even go through more. Once I can hit 80%, guess what I'm doing immediately? I'm handing it off. But if you're going to hand it off, Avi, what do you think you also need to give to that person? A game plan. So I've learned through time that whenever I sit down with any of my employees or my partners or whatnot, I want to find out what their skill set is. Right? So number one is, what is your skill set? This is a real question that I ask. And I've got it in the PowerPoint somewhere. I just put this together last night and this morning, so you're going to have to bear with me. My first question I always ask anybody in an interview is, what do you fucking suck at? And I ask it just like that. You're right. You got time. You got time to be like, you got a book for this. I literally ask, what do you suck at? Because I want to know, one, where they really think their head's at, right? And then by the time you ask the next question of, okay, great, what's your biggest superpower? What's your biggest skill set? They're going to be very open and honest with you in most cases, I've come to find out. So you got to kiss a lot of frogs, you got to ask the right questions, right? From the hiring standpoint. I actually, in the beginning, 10 years ago, whenever I started really hiring people on, absolutely hated it. Now I enjoy it, but I also have a great team that's going to ask those questions. But I always get to ask the one question, what do you suck at? I make sure that I've left that for me to be able to do. This is what the business looks like, vertical integration. So everything that we do, what I want to do is I want to kind of lay it out, like Scott was just saying, he doesn't even know what we really do. I want to explain to you what we do, and anybody in here could do the same thing. I'm not special. I'm just really fucking good at leading people. People trust me to go to that next step without knowing where the hell that next step's going. Right? That's what my little superpower is. So, excuse me, investment company. It's going to take you 1 to 12 months to start making any money. I was telling anybody and everybody. It's going to take you 6 months before you make your first dime. And after that, it's gangbusters if you figure it out from there. But you're going to have to fall, you're going to have to go and mess up. I always tell everybody, your first 2 weeks in business, no matter what you're doing, you should go out and F everything up. Get it out of the way. Get it the hell out of the way so that you don't have any more excuses of why this shit doesn't work. Because there's so many of us in this room. Who did a deal in the last 3 months? Raise your hand. Who's done a deal in the last 3 months? Look around. Keep your hand up. Seriously, be proud of it. Look around real quick. Guys, raise your damn hands. Come on. Jeez. Right? So you need to be sitting down and beside the people that just raise their hand and asking them questions. And yeah, you might feel stupid. You may feel small. But you're only stupid and small if you don't ask questions. Because you're making a change. You're going to continue to get the same bullshit that you've been getting for your whole entire life and have excuses like, oh, I didn't have this, I didn't have... That doesn't help anybody. That doesn't bring anybody value. I know if I want to call Scott for something, I'm not going to call him just so I can call him just bullshit. I better have value for Scott, and if Scott's going to call me, he needs to have value for me. It's really simple. It's a relationship that we can grow off of.
You can call me for whatever reason.
I appreciate that. Say it. Construction company. So we got our investment. I've got a couple different investment companies. We do different things. Construction company. I'm a licensed GC. Joe and I have actually had a couple light conversations on that. I do have my commercial GC license. Whoop-de-doo, right? But that, you don't need to think about being a GC until like year 2, maybe year 3. If that's what you want to do, that's cool. If you want to go be a GC, go be a fucking GC. If you want to go be a paint contractor, Go be a paint contractor, be happy about it, don't bitch about it, right? And I know Scott grew up doing it, so did I. So we don't, but as our father taught us, we will never go hungry. If we absolutely had to, I could go do some shitty painting. And I hate it, but I there you go. Property management company. We manage about 500 doors. They're pretty much all single family houses. So one of the things that I wanted to say to you guys is, if you're trying to property manage for yourself, you're a fucking idiot. Did you hear what I just said? Unless you're going to make it a business. Understand, anybody that does this, and if that hurts your feelings, I don't care. Because I learned my lesson. I hit 19 properties back in early 2000s. I thought I was going to lose my shit because it's too much stuff. You are trying to save 10% of rents, and you're taking yourself out of the game of being able to go out and make hundreds of thousands of dollars? How dumb is that? Put that in perspective for a moment. You can't, from experience, it takes 100 doors to make it worth your while. How do you think I figured that out? There's 100 doors till I really started making really good money. And I've never taken a penny from my property management company. We got 500 doors. So who's thinking, what's this dude doing with the money? For growth. That's how I hire new employees on board. Is my property management company pays for my growth to be able to control my chaos. Is everybody with me? Is this making sense? So who's going to stop property managing like real soon? Raise your hand. Everybody's like, I'm not raising my hand. You just said I'm a fucking idiot. Good answer. All right, so manage third-party rentals. If you guys need a property manager, feel free to call us. We do we do third party. Please feel free to talk to Malou or Terrell tonight. We'll be glad to talk to you about it. Who does property management for themselves? Raise your hand. Just raise your hand. Right. Okay. So this is the toughest part of my head. Out of all the different companies that I have, and Avi, you and I just talked about this the other day in the office. Out of all the different properties that I have, my portfolio and my property management company are actually the only companies that are worth anything. Think about what I just said.
Yeah, because they have constant income.
Correct. They have accounts receivable, right? They have contractual events that happen so that I have cash. So what can I do whenever I have accounts receivable?
You get loans? Or
I can get loans. I can sell it per my whatever's coming in, right?
Exactly, your gross.
Exactly. So that's one of the things that I had a partner who's been a partner of mine for about going on 9 years that said, hey, you gotta have property management because we wanna vertically integrate everything. All this shit that I'm teaching you and telling you about is under one roof that I have. Like, we have all this under one roof. I don't do anything outside of what we do. It's all in-house, which is a complete pain in the ass. But it works, somehow. It's amazing.
Well, a simple way to explain it.
Sure.
You can have $2 million a year in flipping business, and you can have $500,000 a year in management business. That management company is worth more.
Way more.
Flipping business.
Way more. We had a hedge fund come and offer us 10 times earnings on our property management. No bullshit. 10 times earnings.
I came from that world.
Yeah, and I know you did, exactly, 10 times earnings. It's insane. But you have to deal with the armpit of our business of property management. And for those of you that are managing, I saw some of the hand. It is, it's the armpit. Now, if you're doing it under the premise of building it up to do a business like we're doing, I totally get it, I understand. Make sure you get a good mentor to help you get through all the struggles. Because about every 50 properties, it's a whole new set of bullshit you're gonna have to deal with every 50 properties. Every 50 properties. And plus you have a new employee that you're gonna have to hire on for between every 50 and 70 houses, every 50, 70 doors. You gotta bring on a new employee. That's gotta be trained. They have to know what the hell's going on or you're gonna lose your ass, like I said, I promise you. Realty company. So we also have a realty company. My wife, Malou, is our bitch. She's our broker in charge. So she runs the shit. She runs the property management. She runs all of our realty. We have Terrell, who's our head of leasing for all of our rental properties. But if any of you guys at any point in time, now this is a 12, 24, 36 month, that's what those numbers are for. That's actually why I put that on there, as Scott said, for the cat right here. It takes time. Be prepared, be patient. These tenants will drive you absolutely batshit crazy, but it can be worth it. You just gotta give it time. Get to the 100 doors. Once you get to the 100 doors, you've made it. If you can pick up 100 doors at one time, you've made it, in my opinion. But now you're gonna have to be on a real quick learning curve. List properties for homeowners and investors. So if anybody in here needs to list any properties, we can help you out on that. Whether you're a homeowner or an investor, sit down, talk to Lou, talk to Terrell. Also, Henry is a realtor. Feel free to sit down and talk to my team. They're open books about everything, if you haven't already figured that out. So again, these are additional companies, right? So this is my 32,000 feet. So I'm making sure that each one of these freaking things is trying to make $1 a day. Actually, if I remember correctly, I put something on. Shit, it's not on there. So I had a number that was right here. $2,783 a day. Does anybody know what that is? 2,783, it's somewhere there about. Anybody know what that number might mean? That's $1 million a year net. Or it could be gross, but who wants to do that? That's boring. You want to make $1 million, right? Gross in $1 million is not as much fun as actually making $1 million, right? You with me? What'd you say? Absolutely. So if you're thinking about it from the perspective of, I need to figure out how the hell I'm going to make $2,783 every day, does that make it small enough so that everybody in here can go and do something to get to that point? Yes or no? No. Right. I mean, think about that for a minute. $2,783. Does that even seem like a big number to anybody? No. It doesn't. On a daily basis. Yeah. Scott, you got this. I know you can do this, man. Who thinks Scott can do this shit? Raise your hand.
Whoa! Fuck, wait a second. 3,000.
Exactly.
3,000.
All right. So keep it on. So the wholesale company. Everybody in here, in my opinion, should be wholesale. I've had people that go, oh, I wouldn't wholesale, that blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you're a dumbass. Like, why would I leave money on the table? Like, if I know I can get someone under contract because my neighbor is wanting to sell it for 100 and I got Travis that'll pay 115, why wouldn't you do that deal? Are you too good to make 15K? Is that what you're telling me? Right? Think about this. Everybody in here should be wholesaling something. Whatever it is. I don't care. You need to be in the game every day. Dealership, I've got a manufactured mobile home dealership. So we can do manufactured homes, we can do modular homes, so that's something that I have. We own trailer parks. So our trailer parks, whenever I buy trailer parks that are within 2 hours of Charlotte, I get the cheapest houses. Why? Because I own the freaking dealership. So I started buying trailer parks and I was like, why am I paying all these people all this money to put a freaking trailer in whenever I can put the trailer in and I just got to go to Raleigh and take a little dumbass one-day test to become a dealer? Why wouldn't I do that? And then I get discounts on everything, and I can talk directly to the manufacturer. So I went and I did that. I did it, and now I've got my trailer parks, and I'm getting trailers for like nothing. Is that a good deal? Yeah, it's improving, it's growing my businesses. Dealership, private lending company, that's something that I'm starting to do actually just now, is I'm going to start doing some private lending. It's just like, Scott, I will sure as hell not take a second position. Shit ain't happening, ever. Unless I got Lori on my team to go and break some kneecaps, right? And I know Lori will take care of some shit.
Which is good enough for us to procrastinate first.
Correct. Good, see? Big kudos, love it. So if you guys are wanting to do any double closes, transactional funding, let me know. Because that's something that I'm going to start doing, is some transactional stuff. So just, you know. And then, this is the biggest question. why the hell are you doing this? Why are you dealing with all this bullshit? Why are you dealing with listening to Scott's ads or my ads? You know, or George's ads? Why? Why are you doing it? Like, what's the point? Have you even really thought about it? Like, everything I do comes down to having one more rental property. So that's where I work towards every day. It makes it really stupid simple. I don't think I want to get this, I want to get that. No, I just think I want another freaking rental property free and clear. That's all I want. It seems pretty simple, right? So I need to make $100,000 to $150,000 at least as soon as possible, so I can go and I can buy another free and clear rental property. I don't have mortgages.
But tell them why.
Because I've lived through 8, 9, and 10, to George's question. I ate shit, just like Scott did. And it sucked. I had sleepless years. Like George and I have talked about it at length. I had sleepless years. I couldn't even...
high levered before, that's why.
What's that?
Because everybody was too high levered and going...
Totally. I was 90 to 95% LTV on all of my houses. I had almost 60 houses at the time. What did you have? Where were you at? Not that high?
Not highly leveraged. I don't want to talk about it.
So what the hell? See, but this is a real thing. Like, I know Lori's went through it. I know I've went through it. And I know Scott's
I
went
mean,
through it.
on my flips ain't my rentals. And then,
Right.
and if I had kept them separate, I would have my rentals. I would have
Been good, right, absolutely. So, from George's point is, I really learned this one simple lesson, and it took the recession to do it, is I love sleep. Some of you get it, some of you don't. If you don't, you will sooner or later, I promise. I love sleep. I don't have to be the billionaire. I could give two shits. If it happens, fantastic. I don't care. I love my sleep. I don't want to have a heart attack. 26 years old, I'm sick as hell from this business because of all of the craziness. It sucked. And 07, 8, 9, 10, it almost wiped me out. I could have had a heart attack really easy. And I know I'm not alone on that. So I look at things completely different. And I know Scott's seen it, I know Lori's seen it, I know George has seen it. Facebook, I see a lot of people that are putting out there like, yeah, but this is a whole different thing than what it was in 8, 9, and 10. Lori, what do you say to that?
Bullshit.
Just wait.
Just wait. Give it time, because you're so fucking smart.
It is different.
Give it time. It is different.
Because when it's going higher,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
worse than 2006. And when it comes down, I have a feeling we're in for worse.
It's gonna get crazy, right?
Yeah.
I don't,
Yeah.
well, I disagree with that one. I think that,
Okay.
I think that 2006, I'm sorry, 2006 going to 2008, anybody that could fog a glass got a loan.
And they did.
And that's what the problem.
And now they're not.
And
Not
the
yet.
only reason,
Not yet.
the only reason I think Charlotte is a great market is because, especially COVID and all this other shit, everybody's leaving Chicago and New York, and then moving to these areas. So that's why we have a hot market.
Yeah,
So-
we didn't get hurt as bad in Charlotte as a lot of other.
Yeah, we didn't get nailed like a San
We
Fran
only
or
got-
Vegas.
Charlotte got hit for about 15%.
Correct.
Yeah.
Vegas got hit for 50 to 60%.
Yeah.
Correct.
Florida, the same thing.
Absolutely.
Arizona, same thing.
I had 15 new builds going at the same time. I had 7 credit lines, $3 million cut in one fucking day
Right.
by Bank of America. 15 new builds going on in Port Charlotte, down in Florida. Yeah, see how that made you like really quick?
Yep.
That sucked. But it's taught me these lessons, you know? I mean, I know Scott's doing things different. Lori's doing things different. George is doing, we're doing things differently because it's just not worth it. It's just not. I want my sleep. I want to be able to be like, oh. So one of my biggest things that, and I know I don't have all night, so I want to get through these things.
Keep going, who cares?
So my thing is this, I really, really want you to think about what the fuck is it that you really want? Like, that's not a joke. Like, if you don't know what you want, you're gonna just keep on sailing that ship with no place to anchor, no place to hook up to. You really need to think about it. So let me tell you what I did. Me personally, I went, after all this bullshit of the recession, I said, and this is whenever Malou and I, we started doing business together, my wife, and I was like, babe, we got rental properties, we're doing some flips and stuff, I'm wholesaling. I just want fucking bills paid. That's all I want.
Travis, tell everybody how many flips you're doing here.
We did about 170 last year. So it's a few.
Those are rookie numbers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll beat that this year, if possible. Charlotte surrounding 7 counties. Yeah, no South Carolina because the taxes are bullshit, which I cannot get that. I don't understand why it's up. Anyways, that's South Carolina. Oh my God. I sit there like, I want to buy so many properties right over 14 miles from my house, from my office. And I'm like, what? Why? Why don't you guys drop it from 6% down to 1.3 like Charlotte? This is stupid. Anyway.
Hey, you get cheaper gas now.
At least you don't have to wear a mask and the gas. I know, right? Well, I just drive my 14 miles and gas up, and I take off with that. Burn it right in front of me. So I really want you to think about it. I just wanted my fucking bills paid. That's all I wanted. I really want you guys to do this. Please, just work with me on this. What's your number? What is your number right now? I want you to think about your number. Put it above your head. What's your number? Mine was 5K. I want to make 5K because it covered my bills.
5K a month.
5K a month. That's what my number was. 5K a month. Well,
it definitely
exactly.
That's his number, not mine.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's why you're
Mine's 5K a year compared to hers every day.
Right now, Travis's number is like 5K an hour.
Yeah, shit. So, think of your number right now. I'm serious, do it. Just do the number. Now, for every $1,000, I'm trying to break this down for you so it's really easy. For every $1,000 that you want to bring in, you need to make $125,000 in order to buy that rental property that makes that $1,000 in your pocket. Think about that for a minute. So if it's 5K, how much money do I need to make in the next 12 to 36 months in order to get to my goal of 5K? How much? 125 times. Right? So what's my number? Times 5.
Yeah, so it's 5.25.
So
525.
I need to make, let's say, $600,000. I don't know how many times you've made 600. I have no idea. However, I would hope that everybody in here can make $600,000 over the next 3 years. Who would agree with that? You could make 600 grand in the next 3 years at least. Raise your hand. I'm dead serious. Well, then you can get out of the fucking rat race. That's all that you need to do, because this is why. You make different decisions when you're not worried about bills every damn day. And I mean that. And I didn't get it until I got it. And I'm like, oh shit, this feels pretty good. I like how this feels. I can actually stay in bed if I want to, but guess what? I never do. Why? Because I want to go out and I play the game that we're all in, called real estate. So you need to stick to your number, figure out how the hell you're going to get there as fast as you humanly possibly can. And look, this is the reality of it. You ain't doing it on your own. If you think you are, you're being a moron. I can call you ignorant only for so long. Because if you continue to do it and it's 6 months down the road, then you're just completely stupid. What's the difference between ignorance and stupid? Ignorant? You didn't know. Stupid is, your stupid ass knew and you still did it. Is everybody with me here? So what's that?
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer. It's a real thing. So what's your number? How the hell are you going to get there as fast as you absolutely, possibly, humanly possibly can? And that's all you should be thinking about. Don't think, and this is why. This is the biggest piece that I got back in the day when I did this to myself. It will make it so you're not chasing all those dumb-ass silvery objects. That's what half of your that's your super strength is you chase silvery shit. Especially Scott. But it's so much fun.
It's shiny.
It is shiny. Shiny houses will totally screw you in the long run. So that is pretty much my business. I've got several different companies I'm looking over, I'm babysitting on a daily basis, and I have amazing teammates that actually help me build these things out. And they get portions of whatever comes through. Staff growth pattern, goal is to replace you as fast as possible. That's something it took me a little while to really understand. I had one of my mentors say, you need to fucking replace you as fast as possible because you are shitty at so many things. And I was like, you're right, I am shitty at so many things. Well, so you need to just run with the things you're great at, find somebody to come in and start running with those things. And once they hit 80%, get the hell out of their way. Let them go. And then you go and you start new stuff, and that's going to make you money. Did everybody in here do that? Yes or yes?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a numbers game on hiring just like deals. If you aren't trying to hire people, then it's the same as deals. If you're not chasing deals, you ain't getting shit. You're not getting paid, you're not getting any money, you're going broke every day. Inflation's eating you alone, right? A players only. This is hard. A players are not easy to find. Who's been looking for A players and it's been a bitch? Raise your hand. It is the #1 thing, right? Exactly. It's those that are every day looking for A players. It's the hardest thing to find. I have actually used Indeed.com. Has been fantastic for us in our office, just to throw that out there. And I'm not making money on that, I promise you. I wish I was. Learn what their skill set is. Ask what they suck at and ask what their superpower is. Real questions. Ask those. You have to. Because if you don't, then what the hell are you doing an interview for? You've got to ask the hard questions. No bullshit is, I mean, like, seriously, all bullshit aside. Attitude is everything and a little brain power. If somebody has a great attitude, I would much rather have them than somebody that's really freaking smart, at least on paper. I've run into this more times than anything else in business is, I love educated folks, but if you're a master's degree or higher, you're a fucking idiot to me more than likely. Now, don't get me wrong, as an employee, you're a great employee, as if I'm bringing you on because you're going to come into a room and you're going to think that you know everything, and I'm going to shut you down and tell you shut the fuck up. Because you have never made 7 figures. Like, literally. I'll tell you that. I'll be like, all right, big guy, you just sit right there and just shut up. I'm going to tell you what I need you to do. Make a spreadsheet. And I need you to make it do this and make it do whatever cartwheels, right? This is a real thing. Has anybody else dealt with this yet? Oh, yeah, exactly. I know. And I know Lori has. It's the same shit every time. Just like teaching people. Yeah, George.
There's book smart and street smart. There's a difference.
Huge difference. Like, huge. Two totally different
The
worlds.
book smarters are the IYIs, you know, intelligent yet an idiot.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't teach somebody good attitude. I can't. I can't teach that. I can't put that into somebody. I can kick them in the ass, though. You know, if they're being lazy on a day, I can kick them in the ass and get them moving. This one's huge. This one is big. If they don't get to the fucking interview on time, they're never going to be on time. It ain't going to happen. I've had this happen. I'm like, why did I wind up even asking them to come back? That was my stupidity, right? Because I knew better. Are they trainable or not? And then slow your roll. In most cases, it takes 2 years to build a team, to build a business. A lot of you guys, because of whatever reason, the internet, I feel, and a lot of people I've trained lately and in the past is, I gotta have it now, I gotta have it now. That's fantastic. But I promise you, as fast as you got it, it goes away. So keep that in mind. Build a strong base, have a great baseline, so that it's strong walls, it's strong floors that you build. Otherwise, you're gonna be screwed down the road. Build your team to replace you. These are the things. Number 1 thing, leave your ego at the door. Stop thinking you're just all that. I'm serious. When you go into meetings, my wife is my business partner. If I come in with ego, she's immediately going to be like trying to kill me.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Bravo.
Yeah, in a heartbeat.
Women never do that.
It is Women's Day. Give them a hand. Give them a hand. It is.
That shit ain't easy, so, you know?
Exactly.
Women's Day is every day.
Exactly. Wow. Damn. He's on a roll. All right, everything you do has to become processed within your system. So this is where I screwed up back in the day 20 years ago is, I was doing all this shit, I was doing all this shit, I was doing all this shit. I wasn't writing it down. I wasn't setting myself up to be replaced. So see, this is what happens in a lot of people's brains. Yeah, but Travis, if I bring somebody on, they're gonna steal all my shit. So let's talk about that for a moment. 95% of the people are fucking lazy. They're not going to do anything. And if that 5% actually does something, guess what? You're going to get amazing deals from them. They will send you deals if you've trained them up correctly. Wouldn't you rather have that than have nothing and never build a team?
Yep.
Think about that for a minute. You have to be able to be good with, if I've done my business the right way, I would hope one day you're gonna leave unless you're one of my business partners. That's the point. If I've done my shit right, you're gonna leave me or you're gonna bring up value. Hey, Trav, I've been doing this for this long. We've been killing it. We just made $2 million this year. You know, where do I fit in? I don't know, you tell me. Well, where's your value proposition? We did make $2 million. Where do you see yourself? Let them talk. But stop being a bitch about it. I mean that wholeheartedly because I've done it. Scott, have you ever done it?
No.
No. Of course he hasn't. George, have you ever done that?
Absolutely.
Lori? I mean, it's over and over, right? Know that they're going to leave you. It means you did your job. It means you build your business the right way. That's something to applaud yourself with. Stop thinking it's a bad thing. They will bring you deals sooner or later. You just don't get angry about it. They're like, hey, I'm so happy for you. Go out there. Build, grow, whatever. And it leads to a couple other things I'll get into in a moment. When they do the 80%, let them take over. Do you see this person being with your team for the next 3 to 5 years? That's what I'm thinking in my head as the owner, is I want to think about, okay, great, is Henry going to be with my organization for at least 3 years minimum? Fantastic. And then, can Henry, because he lives in Burlington, which is not that close to us, can Henry and I and Malou open up shop in Burlington, Greensboro, High Point, Winston-Salem? Can we do that? Hell yes. Has Henry got the brain power? Questionable. I'm kidding. He does. He's like, what?
Just Travis.
Yeah, exactly. Do I? I don't fucking know.
Talk about me.
So this is what it comes down to, is being okay with sharing that pie. I own the fucking bakery. Why do I give a shit if you want a pie? Take it. Have fun with it. Enjoy it. Make it whatever you want. I don't care.
But also,
Please.
interrupt.
Yeah, please.
The most beautiful thing about it is, like, you know, Travis and I, we've been friends and talking for years now. I don't think we've ever even done a deal.
Nope.
We talk about this. The point is, but we collaborate all the time about deals.
Yeah.
We talk about how, and actually, he actually helped me tremendously over a year and a half ago. We had breakfast, and I was talking about, you know, some of my issues of, you know, as we were flipping more and trying to, you know, move up. He goes, you gotta learn how to fire quick. Since then, man, did our business change, right, Dan?
It does?
Hire slow, fire fast.
Yeah.
So he said, be a bigger asshole, George.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I already had it in me, I just didn't know.
Yeah.
Because nobody gives a shit about your money
Exactly.
except you. If you think any different, you're a moron.
Exactly.
I'm serious. Like, you can't do that because nobody cares. They want to take your money from you. And trust me, they will if you allow them to. Every freaking time. So that goes to the hire slow, fire fast. As soon as you know the person isn't working out, you got to get rid of them. Like, that's it. Be like, yeah, because I do remember that. Yeah. I remember you saying, I'm like, yes, you do need to fucking fire her. Yeah, get rid of that.
And I told you, I brought my best friend down from Chicago,
Yes.
he worked for me. I fired.
Yes. That's something that I go into.
I fired my best friend.
Yeah, so that's in here actually. Does education matter? It does. I want street smart people. I love educated people in my office, but I want street smart people for the most part to do a lot of my daily stuff. If you hire family, you then must have specific rules and roles. Who's doing business with their family? Raise your hand. Keep your hand raised. Like, seriously. Just a couple of them. It's like these two tables, that's it. Smart, not so smart. Doing business with your family is the most difficult thing ever, by far. I've done it both, and I still do both. Malou and I, we drive each other fucking nuts every day. And I still love her. And she knows it too. She's like, I win all the time. I'm
Do
like,
you have a choice?
yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
you're not alone.
See? Exactly. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
So this is what I get to deal with. Somebody that's got an MBA and 5 master's degrees. Can anybody top that? And she's Indian, so think about that for a moment. Let's put that in
So
perspective.
that's rookie numbers with you.
Yeah, exactly, right? She doesn't have a PhD.
What are you talking about? She married down?
Exactly. Hell yes.
Obviously.
I am what you call a dollar. I'm kidding, but I'm not.
Let's not talk about the elephant in the room.
I'm like, redneck? Non-redneck.
By elephant, I mean an Indian elephant that's all dressed up in gold.
If you hire a family, figure out who the hell's doing what. Make sure you have rules, regulations on what the hell everybody's doing, because otherwise it will be a cat fight, I promise. Partner with wife, husband, family, friend, figure out your lane and stay in it. I think that is our first year and a half, Malou and I. It was hell. It was for both of us, because we had to learn how to deal with one another. I'm very open book if you haven't figured that out yet. I'm here to actually really help you. I don't have shit to say. What? Yeah. She is, Malou is amazing at what she does. She's my COO. She runs all my operations, pretty much all the businesses, right? So if I need something, I can go to my wife and she's going to give me the answer. It's our money. Is that a great thing?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a great thing. But if I don't like something and I have to bring it up, is that a great thing? No, it's never a great thing. But it's a conversation because we're business owners together and it's something that we have to discuss. Some of you have to figure out how the hell you're going to do that with your loved one. The entrepreneurial myth, I personally think that more people are employees than entrepreneurs. And I wholeheartedly think that. And I think there's nothing wrong with it. If you continue to go out and run into the freaking brick wall and you can't seem to get shit going, it leads to the next bullet point. I had one of my mentors bring this up and I was like, God, that makes so much sense. Is that most of you in here would be better on a killer team.
Yeah.
That's a real thing. And it's okay, because some of us can go and get on a team, like Henry as an instance. Henry doesn't work for me. Henry doesn't work for Malou. Henry works for himself with us. Does that make sense? So he's on the team. And it's not that Henry can't go out and do it on his own. He just knows this is a kick-ass fucking team. And he knows that we already have a lot of shit in place that I've built for the last 20 years. So whenever I said, hey, bro, come hop on. Let's go. Do you remember what you said? Let me talk to my wife. Smart man.
Oh, yeah.
First, right? It was the very first damn thing he said. Let me talk to Shonda. I said, all right, cool, dude. You do your thing. You do you. I'll do me. It's cool. And then he called me back the next day and he's like, yeah, man, she's on board. I was like, okay. So he just started with, like, what? How many weeks ago?
Couple months.
A couple months ago, and I've known him for 20 years. So he knows I don't bullshit. He's like, yeah, man, let's do this. Let's go out and kill it. So we're doing, we did 17 closings last month for February. We bought 17 houses. Yeah, it was okay.
He just needed somebody on his team that sounded like they were from North Carolina.
Correct. I am redneck. He's redneck. Like, I ain't got shit on him. And he's like, I'll turn it over.
Well, wait, that's a redneck right there.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's a redneck. Who am I redneck? Raise your damn hand. Raise your hand. Come on. That's it. Just you and I.
Okay, I'm a redneck.
Thank you very much. Be proud of something, right?
I'm like,
Chicago redneck.
It's Chicago redneck. Exactly. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
That's not,
I love it.
We're in Kentucky.
I'm a redneck from Greece. I mean,
Exactly. That's it.
Oh,
It
no,
works.
no, he's real redneck.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I can sit down with
He's
his ass.
from Village.
Yeah, see,
okay?
exactly. That'd be me. I'm from Concord. Might as well be Gastonia and shit, you know, whatever. Somebody like, what? I'm from Gastonia. And be like, oh, you're as redneck as I am. Who's from Gastonia? Raise your hand. Ain't nobody from Salisbury?
from Gastonia.
Stanley? Lincolnton?
Come on.
Oh, gosh. Nobody? Chicago, right? Cleveland County?
It's part of the state.
All right. Do business with people you like or hate. Who gives a shit?
If you hate.
Make money. I don't care. I got people that call me all the time. I can't fucking stand them. Why do I care? My money and me and my hatred of somebody does not mean that I shouldn't feed my family.
That's true.
Right? Like, well, morally, if I have a moral, what? I'm not doing anything illegal. I want to help people. In order to help people, I have to help me. The poor can't help the poor. Has anybody ever heard that before? Like, the poor can't help the poor. The poor can't take the poor out of the poorness. So you have to start figuring out, like, I don't give a shit who I do business with. Why do I care? That's none of my business. All I know is, Avi, do you have a great deal? And I do love Avi, absolutely. And we've done a ton of deals together, have we not? I mean, that's the whole thing. So I don't care. I do not care. I only care about one color, and it's green. That's called money. If you can't figure that out. If you can't figure that out, let's talk. We'll go to the next level. People love titles. Why? I don't know. I can give two shits about a title, but that's why I'm in the position I'm in. CEO, COO. This is a real thing. I just had one of my business partners / mentors. Literally, he makes $100 million a year. Like, for real. He said, you have to give people titles. And I was like, what the fuck do I give? Why? What? He says, doesn't matter if you think about it or not. They think about it every day. So think of a title when you bring somebody on, what you can give them. That's a real thing. Why? I don't know. Psychology. Building your team, construction, how to find a construction team, who you need, licensed or unlicensed. Like, I'm a licensed commercial contractor, GC. If you need a GC, fantastic. If you don't, roll with it. If it's under 30 grand, or as Scott said perfectly, it just happened to be 100,000. It's the 27,876.54 cents, and it just turned out to be like 87,964.27 cents.
Apparently, contractor screwed me.
Exactly. You got totally taken to the cleaners. There's a difference. Okay. Project management. This, to me, for construction, was the most important piece I want to share with you guys, is my project manager. He or she is my entry into a house and exit out of the house to make sure that everything got done correctly. So my project manager, this is, I have learned I didn't want somebody that had the background of construction as my head project manager. I wanted somebody that understood numbers. Am I making sense here? Because I've done it the other way, and I screwed myself.
How bad habits?
Right, because you've got to break people of bad freaking habits. Oh, well, like, I had one contractor I brought in, or a project manager I brought in. He'd been in the industry for 15 years, and he wouldn't go negotiate with the contractors.
Yeah.
He felt bad for them.
Yeah.
I was like, why the fuck would, I don't feel, you're fired. You're fired, because I don't feel bad for them. I know what my budgets are because I need to make a certain amount of return, a percentage return on every flip that I do. If I don't do that, then nobody has a job anyways. So it's quite simple. If you can't go and negotiate better terms for me, peace. Get the hell out of my office, get off my job sites. So that's happened a couple times. Then I finally got to a person that's numbers related and can learn, and I went and I walked the houses with him. We walked tons of houses. He walked tons of houses with Malou, and he learned what our numbers could be. Notice I said could be. There's nothing in concrete. So we walked through the house. I'm like, all right, now we're on the 10th house. What do you see that I would see? Oh, blah, 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 blah. What would that cost? Blah, 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 blah. I didn't have to break them of all the bad habits, because it sucks. Especially if they won't go and negotiate because they think they know better than you, who actually has the checkbook, which is crazy to me. Set budget and timelines for team to start and complete project. Kind of important. We've got, I think we have 76 rehabs going right now. Kind of important to make sure timelines and shit are happening? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a tad, because that's my money. If I don't get all my shit done, I'm in trouble. If I can't do what I need to do and rent them out, I'm in trouble. I can't pay to feed the families, to feed the kids of the folks who work for me. Systematically go to the houses and use a checklist. You give them a checklist. A monkey can do this. It's not hard. It's not rocket science, but you got to make sure they're actually going and doing it, not sitting at home getting lit up. I've had that happen. I know I'm not alone on that either.
Is that wrong? My bad.
That's not wrong, damn it. As long as you're doing it with me, it's not wrong. In states that it's legal. Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
We would never break it all.
Well, not with every contractor every day.
Right.
We're talking theoretically.
And then there are some guys that they just need that anyways. Pull permits when needed, hire and fire, give autonomy. I've learned that giving autonomy is huge. When they hit that 80%, let them go. Understand this. They're gonna fuck up. It's gonna cost you money. But more than likely, they won't do that same fuck up again. More than likely. If they do it twice, then what do you probably need to do?
Fire.
Probably fire. More than likely, but it's a conversation that you can have.
The same fuck up's always different though, so it's crazy.
It's, but I thought it was like, no, there you go, you're thinking. That's the kind of conversations that I have. Like, you're not paid to think like that. No, that's, you talk to me a little bit. All right, so some of your teammates, HVAC guys, plumbers. Do I have any plumbers in here? Plumbers are the hardest people to find right now that will not rob you. Like, they are expensive as hell. I don't know if anybody else is dealing with the same thing. Electricians, contractors, handymen. Guys, everybody in here, if you want to do construction, you've got to start building these teams. It sucks. It's horrible. And it's every day is a different story. I promise you. It's going to be a different story from them. And somebody had a car accident, or their mom died a third time, or because they forgot because they got drunk the last 2 weekends. Whatever. It is what it is. But you've got to put your foot down and not care to fire these dumbasses on occasion. But think about it. Just like tenants. If I got pissed off at every tenant, which I hate them all, however, they pay my bills every day. Can I really hate them? I can really hate them. But I still love them at the same time. It's a love-hate relationship. Am I okay with that?
Yes.
Hell yeah! I need more of them, don't I? Because guess what? I'm not dealing with them on a daily because I'm not property managing them. I have a team that does that for me. Thank God they're my team, and I know they kick ass. But that's a whole different story. Property management business, licensed BIC. So Malou is a licensed BIC. She went, did the test, she did all that good fun stuff. We have leasing, who is Terrell. He does a lot of our leasing. We have maintenance. These are all the teammates that you need to think about whenever you're starting to build each one of these teams. Remember, that's what this is about. I want you guys to see kind of the innards of what we do as quickly as I can show you, right? And as in-depth as possible. You got to have a good CRM, property management software. We actually use propertyware.com. They're okay. They have a great help desk from what I've been told. I've never fucking logged into it myself. I don't know. I don't care to know. I have a great team that knows. So as you can see, I'm like 80%. Yeah, okay. I had enough background from managing all of my first set of properties, and then I instilled that into all of my team, so they knew that don't trust anybody. Yeah, it's pretty simple. Did you hear what I just said? I want to make sure nobody missed that. Trust no one. Trust no one. And if you feel like you should trust somebody, punch yourself in the face. Because you just set a stupid ass expectation, in my opinion. And you shouldn't do that. And Scott will tell you over and over, trust no one. It is a simple fact. Verify everything. And then verify it a second or third time if you probably need to.
I trust everybody, but risk none of them.
Well, there you go. Every 50 to 70 doors that you actually bring on board that you are property managing, expect to have to hire at least one employee that's going to help take care of that. That's how, and I really do wish that they had a little checkbox that said batshit crazy on applications for tenants, but they don't. Sorry. Carolina Alpine Real Estate. This is going to be our real estate company where we list properties. And again, this is a lot of the stuff that Malou runs every day, all day long, along with dealing with all the other crazy shit that happens in our office. You must be a BIC. In order to list properties on MLS, you have to have a sales agent license, but you have to work under a BIC, which is Malou. Hence, Terrell and Henry work under Malou's firm license and her BIC license. Licensed sales agent, realtor have to get your license, firm and sales agent. Its subscriptions are bitch. They ain't cheap. They're thousands of dollars a year for you to do everything, and then on top of that, you have to do continuing education, just like I have to for my GC. It sucks. But it's a part of it. I look at this as a tax that sucks. However, it keeps certain people out at the same time. Positive thing, right? I'm thinking from that perspective. You definitely want to get to MLS. I know that's not cheap either. Networking, tons of documents so you can get the state board certified, National Association of Realtors, and also the Bar Association. That's the contract that Scott was talking about earlier that's like 150 pages long. Not really, but it's several pages long. And then you got to do your continuing ed. It sucks. How many hours do you have to do that, bitch? 8 hours, so that's not too bad. I mean, it still sucks ass, don't get me wrong, but it's not that bad. Wholesale business. So this is one that a lot of folks that I talk to are trying to get up and running. Right now, I don't know about a lot of you guys, but I overheard some folks. I talked to a couple guys in the beginning. I talked to Lori. Deals are hard to find right now to a point, are they not? Who's having a rough time finding deals? Raise your hand. Okay? Who's not having a rough time finding deals? Subject to. Right? Exactly.
No.
They like never come.
No.
They're only gonna get more crazy.
Well, we moved more into new construction, so it's like.
Oh, that's right.
Allowed, so.
Which is a bitch.
You gotta slow it down.
I gotta talk to you about that.
They're
stuff,
telling
by
me
the
to
way.
slow down, these guys.
I love it.
They're like, take the week off. I'm like, well, wait, I have
I'm
to make
bored.
money at the end of the
Right,
day.
exactly. Like, I'm bored. I gotta do something. I gotta keep you fools working. I love it.
I can't do it. I'm too busy.
So who's doing a lot of wholesaling? Raise your hand real quick so I can kind of see in the room. Okay, so we do from anywhere from 5 to 15 wholesale deals a month, right? We're normally flipping 12 to 18 houses a month-ish, give or take, dependent. Except last year in April, I only did 6 houses in April. Other than that, we've been pretty much the higher end of the teams. Wholesaling is a job. Like, if you're not working it daily, you're probably not making a great amount of cash. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, you can make a killing, like, if you hit the right things. But it's a job. You have to do it every day. And like Avi and I just had this conversation at the office the other day. It's kind of like, you know, I personally, all that I do, my wholesale, is to get another rental property free and clear. Like that's all I'm thinking in my head is, okay, for every flip, I want another rental property free and clear. For every wholesale deal, or if I have to take 5 wholesale deals, okay, that's another rental property free and clear. But you see how I've been changing my focus. That's something that hopefully some of you learned from me tonight is, stop changing your fucking focus. Like if you really want to get out of the shit you've been in, then you need to have cash flowing in that you're not having to work for every single second. Like that's a real thing. Active and passive are real things. So you need to work your ass off actively and get loans and do everything you can in order to have as much passive income. Like think about it. And this is a real question. George, what is your number, if you don't mind sharing, that like monthly passive cash flow, you're like, not what you're bringing in, but if it was just a number, what would your number look like? Like, oh man, I'd be happy with that.
You know, like passive income?
Yep, passive.
I mean, for me right now,
Yeah,
I mean, probably about, 30, 40 grand a month just to.
30 to 40,000 to live, to be able to travel, to do your
But
stuff.
that means everything's already paid for.
He's like 400 away from that.
Right.
No, I mean, I look at that as just spending money, and not going into whatever you have.
Hell yeah, I love it. Scott, what's your number?
What's my number?
Yeah.
My number's like $1,200. I'm at 5,000.
5K, it's like, shit. Just think how shitty it can get, but you still have 5K coming in every month.
2,000 for the.
Right. Exactly. It pays for your car, gas, food, house payment, or rent. Right?
Well, that's just bare minimum, but I'm just saying what you.
30 to 40. Absolutely. My number was always 20. I wanted to hit 5. After I hit 5, I'm like,
If you're gonna look that beautiful
10.
on money, you gotta have
20.
my number.
What's that?
If you're gonna look that beautiful of that money, you gotta have my number.
Shut up. I'm thinking you want you to come and bottom.
Oh, it's not buying there, I'd be all over you, Jordan. Don't worry about it.
Who would care? Who will share their number with me? Give me a number. What's your number? What's your number? Yeah. Like passively. Like you're like, I wouldn't have to do shit and I could sit at my house and do nothing. What's your number that gets you to where you want to be? 75,000 a month. That's a lot. That's a whole lot. Okay. So how are you going to get there? Okay. Do you have a mentor? Do you have anybody helping you get to it?
You're a bad influence.
I don't sell mentoring, so I'm not asking from that perspective, I promise.
I got a couple.
Okay, good. To hit 75, that's a lofty number for most people. That's a lot of cash, right?
It's almost $1 million a year just in housing.
Absolutely.
Which
So
is great.
most people are gonna be, yeah,
Yeah, mine's 100,000.
100,000.
And I did it for 32,000, I mean, 30.
That's fucking JJ. Did I?
Yes,
Yeah,
3,300 a day.
I recognize that voice.
3,300 a day. That's what you're shooting for. I like it.
Is that your hat?
Yes. And my shirt, and my clothes.
I have no idea where that's going, but
He's got his own clothing line.
oh, sweet. Awesome,
He
man.
graced us with his present.
So you're doing the business thing and figured it out. I love it, man. Hell yeah.
Oh, wholesale a little bit nice, got my little clothing line.
So my thought process is this. I wanted to get 5K. Then it went to 10K. Then it went to 20. Guys, I don't know many people that need to make more than $20,000 a month and be able to not have to worry about it. So say that you have some shitty, bad cancer, something happen in your life. Having 10 or 20K coming in every month to take care of your family is probably a good amount of cash. Would y'all agree?
Yep.
So what I'm going to say is, please start building that and start getting that rental income, and don't over leverage shit like all the gurus tell you. Don't do it. And Scott knows for a fact, since I've stood in front of people, I've never said go and get loans on shit. I've always said I'm the complete opposite. I'm not a Dave Ramsey, but my active is all loans, right? That's how I think about it. My passive, no loans. Let me explain this to you. So, first house you get, costs 100, let's just go with 100,000, easy math. $100,000. You're able to rent it out, right? For say 1,200 bucks. By the time taxes, insurance, management fees, everything, you're making $1,000. You now have made yourself a floor that you've never had in your entire life. You have $1,000 coming in every freaking month. This is all that I did. This is absolutely exactly what I did after the bullshit recession. I said, okay, that feels good. I want to do it again. Number 2, same thing. Now I got $2,000. I just moved my floor up. Third one, I just moved my floor up again. Now I got $3,000 cash free and clear. Would that change your life and your livelihood just a little bit? Right? Think about this. This isn't hard. It's just you have to stop for a minute and stop chasing that silvery shit. So now you got 3, now you got 4, now you got 5. You've got your base. God forbid all the shit crumbles and you only get half of your rent. You still got $2,500 coming in if you got up to that 5K. Do you think you can figure out how the hell to live off of $2,500? Everybody in here, if you can learn how to live off $2,500, I'm dead serious. Right? Everyone in here can do it. It'd suck. Really suck. It'd be shitty. I'd hate it. But, can I do it? Yeah, I'm a redneck. What the hell? You know, I'll go out and kill some deer. I'll go do something. And I'll invite all you all over and have some venison. I don't give a shit. We'll have fun though. But somebody's got to bring the beer. That's all I'm trying. Who's bringing the beer?
I am.
Okay, good. I knew it. Boom, done. So, team needed. Okay, so why wholesale? Most management intents, it's a daily grind. It is. It's a hellacious daily grind. So I said it at one of the first PowerPoint pieces was 2 years. I want everybody in here to think about this. I mean this wholeheartedly. 2 years of bullshit to never have to deal with all the bullshit again. But you got to grind for 2 years. You got to get rid of the bad people. You got to get rid of the folks that are fucking taking advantage. You got to get rid of all the weight that's just you've been carrying around. I know me. My backpack. I don't have room to carry anybody else's fucking rocks. I'm sorry. My rucksack is full. I can't do it anymore. So I can't carry your rocks. But I can tell you this much. I carry my own. And some of you guys need to start getting rid of some of those other people that are putting their fucking rocks on your back. Right? Who's got some of that going on right now? And I'm not kidding, right? Raise your hand. We all do of some sort, right? It's time to fucking let them go. Because if you don't, you sink. You'll go down with them. I promise you, you'll go down with them. And it sucks. It's not fun. That was just kind of a tangent, which is very long.
Hey, does that include our kids? Because that's why I raised them.
Hell yeah! Kids especially. After they're 12 years old. Look, when you turn into a teenager, 13, My third-
I'm like, let's build them a house.
Yeah, hell
Like,
no. Hell no.
Thank you.
They will destroy that thing and not give two shits. All right, so team needed. Here's something I wanted to put together for you guys of what we have in our office. And Mike helped me walk through some of this stuff because he is the marketing operations and he kills it. So we have to have our acquisitions team. We got to have callers. We have to have texters. We have to have any and all those folks that do that stuff, as many as possible. MLS, you got to have MLS. You got to be able to pull comps. You got to be able to pull them quick. You need to be able to pull them while you're talking to people on the phone so you can make offers on the phone if possible. But I'm going to say this. From all the marketing and everything, we spend a lot of money every month on marketing for our different businesses. And for our wholesale business, for our turnkey business, for all this stuff that I've been talking about tonight of our businesses, is you have to think from the perspective of how the hell am I going to get an appointment today? That's all you should be thinking about. If you're thinking about anything different, in my opinion, you're screwing the pooch. You should only think about how many appointments I can get today. Because appointments are what pay. If you can get me or Mike or Henry in front of a seller, we'll close them 80% of the time if you get me in front of them. It's all about the appointment. That's how I make money. And that would also be a part of the follow-up. So appointments and follow-up are the two things that everybody in here has to get better at. If you're just shitty or sucking at them, you've got to go out and screw this thing up more. You're not getting in front of enough people. You have to go and skin up your knees, your elbows, your forehead. I'm telling you, you have to get out there and start messing up. Because it's only going to make you better, I hope, if you're not a moron. Right? Get out there. It's all about the appointments. That's one of the biggest things that we've learned over 22 years, 21 years of doing this shit is appointments are everything. Transaction coordinator, we got to have one of those. A dispositions person. We have a VA that does all of our administrative work. That's pretty inexpensive. I would not, me personally, I will not ever have a VA from the Philippines or from India, I love you Malu, anywhere do phone calls for me except in the United States. I will not do it. I've already done it, and they always suck. I'm not trying to see how many phone numbers I can go through. I'm trying to see how many appointments I can get set. Does that make a difference? It makes a huge difference. And hey, if you got a great VA in the Philippines or wherever, hey, kudos to you. I'm just not doing it. I'm going to pay the $12 to $15 an hour for somebody here in the States that actually can understand how these people really feel and actually try to help them. And again, I've got people that blow through 5,000 phone numbers in order to get a deal, an appointment, where my team can do 100 and we get an appointment. Is that a big difference? That's a huge difference in data, in time, and in money. Because I look at everything as an appointment, right? Let's see. List builder. Yeah, you need to have somebody that understands lists. That's what Mike and I sit down almost every morning and go through all of our lists, what we need to pull up for the next week. If one of our teams in one of our cities that we're working isn't, if they're falling behind or if they're ahead, what do we need to do? And then an attorney for North Carolina, because we're an attorney state. I know so many. Who uses Harry? Raise your hand. Okay? Yep, I love Harry. He's a great dude. I've drank many a cocktail with Harry. He's a good guy. He knows his shit, and he does what he can. He's slammed just a little bit, right? What's he on, like number 12 office, I think now? Jesus Christ. System software needed. Skip tracing. So, perfectskip.com is the only plug that I'm giving that's actually my company. I was pissed off because I got tired of all the bullshit skip tracing stuff that I kept running into. So I went and I fucking built a perfect skip software. So please check us out, perfectskip.com, and try us out, see what you think. CRM, you have to figure out what CRM you want to use. We're using, I'll give you a link, it's REI Reply. Documents, schmocuments, it's kind of like what, guys, you could go to Office Max, Office Depot, whatever the hell it is, and get a one-page contract. You can go Google one-page contract, one-page purchase contract. I'm not an attorney, I'm not trying to play one. I'm not a CPA or an accountant, but one-page documents work. They have for 20-something years, so it's okay. Marketing and advertising, this is a big one. And I get it. I learned back in the day that you need to have a budget. That means you're actually spending money. What makes me different from a lot of other people that are in our market right now? I spend money. That means it gives me consistency in my marketing. If you're not spending money on marketing, then what are you doing? Whatever it is, can you become consistent, stay consistent in it? Like, I know that all the different marketing that Mike and I do, I'm okay with spending $30,000, $40,000 a month in my marketing campaigns because we're consistent and most people can't afford that shit. But we're going to always be there because we know it works and we know it's going to make money. So what you need to really think about is, what is the budget that's going to fucking hurt but not take me down? Because this is what the problem is. Somebody be like, I'm going to spend $250 this month on budget. Like, what is that to somebody? Unless it's like the last $250 you got, then what is that to you? You need to put up enough that's going to hurt. Who are you trying to fool? Yourself? You got to make it hurt, so guess what? This is what happens. You and your woman or you and your man are sitting down having dinner, and your phone rings. I only spent $250. I ain't got to answer that. What? No, that's a dumbass move.
Always answer.
Oh my God, if my phone rings, I'm answering it. Malou, back in the day, whenever we first started dating, I'm like, hey, I'm going to answer my phone. Because it's money. I'm sorry, I love you, but I'm going to answer my damn phone. Now,
She's still not over it.
and now I'm like, hey, what am I? Just fucking chopped liver here? She's on the phone constantly. Yeah. Right? So she threw it right back at you. But you have to answer your phone. Make it hurt enough so that you'll answer your damn phone. That's what we do. If that phone's not connected to your ear, what the hell are you doing? Go back to your job. Because at least then you have some security and baby health insurance. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Software to use, this is actually our CRM. If you guys want to write that down, TravisBuyHomes.krtra.com. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you get that, I'll send it to you, whatever. You need to get local MLS, perfect skip. Call tools is what we use for our dialing. I'll send it over to you. PropStream is a pretty decent software to pull lists. Mike, how much is that, 99? It's like $99 a month. Yeah, so it's pretty good. And then look, guys, honestly, if you're flat ass fucking broke, use Google. Shit's free. Like, stop being a bitch. For real. Use Google. It's free. Right? Well, of course you do. To get it. That's why everybody's here, because they want to see your bitchiness. So, use Google Docs. It's free. And you can build it out and you can share with people. So if Lori and I are working on deals, I can share a Google Sheet with her or a Google Doc with her. I can share all of my documents. I can share my purchase contracts. I can share my assignment contract. I can share everything in Google for free. You have no excuse except you're a lazy bum. Right? I mean, that's a real thing, guys. Don't procrastinate.
You mean using Google or a lazy bum?
Both. Absolutely. So this is my team. This is my info. Travis, 704-201-3128. If you've got deals, hit me up, text me, email me. Malou, same thing. If you got deals, call her, text her, email her. And let me say this. If you have deals, send them to Malou before you send them to me.
Oh.
Because she gets on it fast.
She thanks you.
I'm normally in meetings for like 2 or 3 hours, and I try to not break my attention with whom I'm with. So she kicks ass. And she'll also give you an answer really quick. Most of our houses we buy within, as soon as title's clear, literally tomorrow. If you brought me 10 houses today at $1 million, I can close them tomorrow. I have plenty of cash. It's my money. I'm not getting private money. I don't get hard money. It's my fucking money. Sit in my account. Just like George. So call us. Let us know. You got Mike, who's a badass also. You got Terrell. If you're wanting to get out of the property management, trust me, I'm not bringing this in because Your tenants are paying my ass then. However, we can take care of you. Let us know, and Terrell and Malou can set you up to take over your properties if you don't want to deal with bullshit and actually go and make no money. It's totally up to you, whatever. And then Travis Buys Homes. So if you see Travis Buys Homes, that's actually me. That's my team, and we're growing. We're also up in Indianapolis, where we're buying a ton of houses. So if you've got connections up in Indy that of anybody that wants to sell, please let us know. Did you have a question, bro? Okay. And that's it. Real quick. Any questions? I'm here. I'm an open book. Ask me questions, guys. If it's something about biz, whatever it might be. Yes.
I was trying to ask you, where do you find the VAs?
The VAs. Mike, how do we find our VA?
So the best way for VAs is actually, it's onlineph.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
.com. So you actually log in. It's, I want to say they've ramped up to like $69 per month. But once you find your VA, you just cancel the subscription. You can actually keep them in there, so you can run in and out of it. What I did with the interview process is make like because like Philippines, like a lot of it's going to be data entry. Like they don't speak well. This is like, I actually use them to build lists, is actually what I do. And like, they go in and look for buyers, for deed paperwork. They go in and look for all sorts of things. They pull the list. You know, if we drive for dollars, they go in and do all our, in each GIS and actually go look up the information. They go on the Secretary of State, pull the owner's information. That's where they pull everything so we can know the numbers. But but when you're actually interviewing them, go through like at least 5 to 10 and make them do some work. Like actually put like a little Excel sheet together that asks them for questions and stuff, and you'll figure out the really good ones. But I think we're paying $3.50 an hour, so it's like $75 a week.
And our girl
20
kicks
hours.
ass.
And she kicks ass. She can do all the GIS
she's
stuff.
badass.
In the US for $3.50?
No.
She's a Philippine, so that's like that's a salary. So like Philippines, $3.50 an hour is like making 60 grand over there. So don't think like you're shortchanging them. That's what the going rate is over there. But
No, she was just thinking that it was going to be here.
no. It's like literally $75 a week.
But they're great for doing tasks.
Admin, yes.
Budget, tax.
So
Like
for-
right now, she's going through my CRM and making sure all my lead source reporting is right. So checking that the leads came in from the right source. She actually checks my call rel every morning. She updates my KPIs. Like she goes through and makes sure like whatever leads came through our, you know, we do pay-per-click, we do SEO, whatever leads come through, she makes sure they're in the CRM. If not, she notifies us and me in the morning. She works from like 7 a.m. to 11. So usually when I get in the office, we chat real quick and then she just goes on her way. So
Is that an answer?
we do a lot of stuff through.
Yeah, I was using Upwork, but a lot of them.
Yeah.
Upwork is pretty expensive.
Yeah, that's way.
You'll find a lot of US based and stuff,
Yeah.
but online PH, they actually bid it out. I got in touch with that like 5 years ago.
Upwork is good for contractual work or whatever, but yeah, the online PH, right, yeah.
It's probably the best way to find a,
And it's the
For a
cheapest.
full-time person or
for a
whatever.
full-time person, and they're all Philippine based on that one.
What's that?
But they can't talk.
Oh yeah, they can.
Yeah, they can absolutely.
Yeah.
The great thing about the
Look, their
Philippines
English,
is that
the main
we've
language of
operated
Philippines
for
is
so
English.
long, they actually speak English.
Yes, and most of them are actually, they're actually college educated, most of them. Like they do that for a living.
But they just don't understand the
The problem is they don't, it's a different culture. So like,
Culturally, they don't do.
they don't do well with confrontation.
Sarcasm, any of that.
They're not gonna push the seller, so like, they're not gonna be great on the phone calls.
But that's why we just have them, again, I'm gonna say it, we only have them do admin. I'm not having them call a single fucking person. Like, that is not gonna happen. Because, not to say that some of them can't, because I'm sure that there are, but I'm probably gonna be paying the same for them as I am in the States, to have that same person that can understand the culture. Because that's the biggest thing with calls. So this is gonna be just task-oriented type things, technical things, and they can be fantastic, but you still gotta train them. So one of the things that we did was, we started building a YouTube library of shit to do, right? And then when we hired them, like Mike or I or whomever would do screencasting, and then we have it, and then now they can we send them to YouTube and they can watch videos. And then we don't have to take the time to train them. And then whenever they're gone in 3 months, or whenever it may be, The next person, you do the same thing, and maybe they'll stay for 6 or 12 months. So you want to make sure, again, it goes back to the systems and processes. Everything that you do has to become a system and process. Everything you do, no matter who it's for, as a VA, to replace yourself, whatever it may be. George.
So right now, on the deals you're getting, if you don't mind sharing.
Sure.
I mean, from cold calling to texting to, you know, I mean, what is working for you now?
Cold calling and texting are huge. We like PPC also. What? PPC, pay per click, but it's really fucking expensive.
I mean,
but yeah.
I mean, are you still doing any mailers? 'Cause
Haven't done mailers in like 6 months.
yeah.
Yeah,
I've never done mailers, and I've never missed it.
I used to do. This was 4 years ago. I could send 3 to 4 years ago. I could send out mailers and hit between 5 and 6%. And then it got so shitty about 8, 10 months ago that I just stopped. Like literally, I was down to like a couple hundred a month. I'm like, this is bullshit, and I just stopped. Now, you know, I'm gonna change that soon, probably, because I think that so many people got drained of cash from doing it, and we're still way good. So I'll probably bring that back in. I just don't know when yet. I'm gonna just see kind of what the market's doing. Any other questions? Yeah.
For young investors, where did you learn where you are now? How did you get there?
I went through
Besides here.
Russ Whitney. Is what I went through.
Russ Whitney.
And some of us, who knows about Russ Whitney? Anybody heard? Yep. That's who actually taught me himself. So I paid for education. I paid for almost $18,000 in '99. That was 4 classes and a mentorship. And after that, it was just gangbusters. I just did what I had to do, and I listened to them, and I fucked up a whole lot. But I just made it. I just got through all the bullshit and was able to build it. Yeah.
Yeah, but the most important reason to make it, the most important thing to do in this business to make it, is do something every day.
Every day, towards it, towards the business. Question?
Yeah, just got a quick question.
Sure.
So like, I certainly respect like your no debt approach to buying real estate.
Yep.
Like, I think that's safe, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's your own investment. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, nobody should question what you decide to do with your money. Isn't there like a happy medium though between being leveraged out the ass, you know, 95%
Absolutely.
LTV
100%.
and 0% LTV?
100%.
What are your thoughts on that?
Actively, I will leverage up everything.
Yeah.
Passively, I won't. I could go get loans, I could get a line of credit, I could get any of that stuff. But it really does, I mean, it really sleep. That's what it keeps going back to for me. Trust me, if you're new, it's really fucking difficult to do it with no debt. I mean, like, I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna have to go get debt. It's okay, just don't be a dumbass like I was. Like, seriously, don't. Don't over leverage your money or other people's money. Be smart about it. But I 100% agree with you. I just know me very well, and I don't want to have that. I love having my basis always just moving up by every property every month. And then the best part's whenever every month your rental income buys houses free and clear every month. That's the kind of cool fucking thing, just to be real with you. That's where, but it took me, fuck, I probably had to make, let me think about this. In order to get to the point, I probably had to make at least probably close to $1 million till I really felt comfortable to be able to be like, I don't want to carry any debt anymore. But I still, on the leverage side, is my active. Because I'll take, like, if you had 150, I did totally segregated, like I silo them, and I'm just like, oh, okay. Now, if I have a trailer park that I'm going to buy, fuck yeah, I'll go leverage it. But I'll go with private money. I won't even go to a bank. If I'm going to buy another apartment complex, that's whenever I might go to a bank, or I'll go to an FHA over $2 million. But what's that mean? I don't have over $2 million. I don't have to sign personally. Different world. Different world when you get to that point, whenever you go in and you don't sign personally so they can come take your shit. That's what you don't, that's what I'm trying to get you guys to understand. You're gonna have to leverage, yeah. One of my big things, and this was something too that, I can't remember if it was Mike or Henry, we were talking about this, is there's some of you guys in here that are still getting started or just done a couple deals, and you're like, oh, I gotta get my LLC started. No, the fuck you don't. You need to go make money. You need to go make money. Once you make money, let that shit pay for itself. Let's stop worrying about it. If you don't have anything to take, what are you trying to what are you trying to control and protect? It doesn't make any fucking sense. I've had so many people be like, well, should I get my LLC? Now I'm like, well, do you have money? Do you own something? No, I'm pretty broke. I don't really own anything. Like, I mean, I barely own my clothes. I'm like, why? Why would you do that, right? So keep your $750 and put that into your fucking marketing budget, right? There's just so much shit that I know that Scott, myself, Lori, George, we could sit there and I use these folks' names because I've known fucking Scott for almost 20 years. I mean, seriously, Lori, almost 20 fucking years. I mean, we did a lot of shit just trying to pay bills back in the day, did we not? For one another. I'm like, fuck. Like, we were practically carrying one another.
We never speak about those things.
Right, exactly. But back when it was happening, I felt so dirty. Now I'm like, I'm proud to be able to tell you guys, it didn't kill me.
Fucking dirty, huh?
It didn't kill us. And yeah, I'm still a dirty bastard. Whatever. It is what it is. Right, well, you still love me.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe not. What's up?
Day to day.
Just a quick follow-up question. So you had stated that if you're not doing your job correctly, if your team's not leaving you, or what was your statement? If your team's not leaving you, or
for growth.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're not doing your job
for
correctly.
growth. Yeah.
Don't you think some people are meant to be in that?
That's my point. That's my point. There are certain people that they're going to stay with me forever, and it's all good, and I love that about them. And it's because they know that I got the back, and it gives them that security piece. I love that. Those are the folks that I'm looking for. However, I don't hate on those that leave. I won't do that. I've done that before. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? You know, I just fucking spent all this goddamn time, all this money, blah, blah, blah.
Well, a lot of people are scared of that.
Right, and that's why I'm telling you.
And I'm one of those persons. Like,
Right.
I'm scared that, well, I'm going to train you and you're going to learn and you're going to leave. And like, so like, why?
And that's fantastic, because then it's whenever you, as Scott would be like, dude, let's just fucking partner up. Like, shit, let's just do this. Look at it from a positive, because I know that that's not what we dealt with in the downturn. It's just like, fuck, this is mine. Like, literally, I remember, like, I only have this little bit. I don't have enough to fucking give you. I really wish I did, but I don't. And I don't like you. You know? I mean, that's a real thing, a real feeling, and it sucks. It's horrible, and it sucks your soul out of you. But yeah, you want to be the best person you can be to build them up, so that, yeah, one day either they're just like, man, I want to do something else. Like, my VP right now of operations, I'm bringing him in on the dealership side of stuff. So he's just like, fuck, I'm gung ho. I'm like, yeah, see, but he was bought in, right? He bought into the Travis and the Malou program, and now he sees like, oh my God, I can grow exponentially with these guys, because every year or two, we open another type of company. And somebody's gonna have to run that thing, and maybe it might be me. And that's what it's come into, that I didn't even know that was what was gonna happen in the beginning. I had no idea 10 years ago, whenever Malou and I started doing this business together as partners, that this was gonna happen. Malou, did you think that? She's half asleep too, by the way. And she is. Any other questions? Anything else? Ask away, guys. Yeah, brother.
I did want to say,
Please.
I do find it amazing in these days, okay, that people aren't aware of virtual assistants particularly in the fucking Philippines.
Yeah.
You can hire a full-time motherfucker, college educated, smart person, smarter than you.
Yeah.
Because you guys are very smart coming to this meeting, I can tell you that.
Raise your hand if you knew that. Raise your hand. Raise your hand.
Let me tell you something. I've been paying Gladys $300 to $350 a month for the last 6 years, working full time.
And she loves you. And she absolutely loves you.
She doesn't know.
Man, she's a freak of nature.
Check.
No, she's hot. She's hot as shit. Let me tell you. But her husband is a stud.
All right.
So I'm fussed. But what I'm saying though is that no, she does all the shit, digital bullshit work, and compiles bullshit spreadsheets every fucking day.
Yep.
Full fucking time.
Doesn't bitch and moan.
For $300 to $350, depending on the exchange rate, and I fucking give her raises because I'm the fucking unicorn knight miracle worker in the United States. You know, sometimes that costs her an extra $10. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, it's beautiful, right? And you're helping them out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a good job. Like an engineer makes the same as she does.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
That's a real thing.
None of you fuckers are engineers.
Wise. he really.
Oh, here you go. I think both of you got a question back here.
Yeah, but not obviously a good one. But I'm just saying, like,
What are you talking about? He hired VAs.
Exactly.
So, like, you don't understand, like, there's an exchange rate, so there's a mentality, like, you have some sort of weird understanding of, like, how things work in the rest of the world. But you can actually hire slave labor legally, right? But it's not even slave labor.
I don't know if I use those terms, but
No. I'm using it because that's the mental breakthrough. That's the mental breakthrough for you because you don't even want to believe that you can pay somebody less than $400 a month to be educated and smart and everything else like that. What I'm saying is, Gladys, right? So her opportunities with me are to do this bullshit, right? Or to go be a teacher or an engineer or somebody else.
Make half of that.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, so like a doctor makes like 1.5 times what I paid Gladys. Does that make sense? Right? So we feel guilty as like Americans or whatever. Like, I don't even know. Like, so he's telling you that you can go hire somebody full time, $400 a month or less at online.ph, and that's where I hired her. And that's where I hired my future people, right? But none of you fuckers believe that stuff because you don't even know. Because you think that I don't like. Well, there are preconceptions, right? You understand what I'm saying? Like you didn't.
You understand the words that come.
He laid out the genius. And
I'm supposed to pass out the yellow tickets.
No, what I'm saying is, what's so amazing is that the breakthrough is that nobody ever believes this shit. But you can do it. No, the point is that, you know, if you've got this, if you have trouble generating leads, if you have trouble doing all this like bullshit digital work, and there's a ton of it in this business.
Yes.
Right?
A ton of bullshit.
Then you need to hire that out.
Yeah.
Right? Like I don't, it's just so amazing to me how many people like in our industry don't like understand, like, dude, there are full-time employees that will work on your computer and that are smarter than you, motherfucker.
That's for real smart.
Smarter than you.
Yeah.
And work their ass off for 40 hours a week for $400 or less a month. And you guys are like, and now it's the genius thing, and I've said it in this meeting like every other month, you know, but yeah.
Or you can hire an American who's gonna work just as hard, maybe for a little more, and appreciate it just as much. I mean,
for a little more.
There are Americans here that work, so.
No, you have to pay them like $4 grand a month.
I don't even want to hear.
Any other questions, guys? Did y'all learn anything? Did you guys learn anything?